In a World RX race weekend, you have to go through every emotion. If, come the end game, your goal is to be victorious. Welcome to the 2019 FIA World Rallycross Championship presented by Monster Energy. With an incident-packed opening round gone but not forgotten, World RX has travelled back to Europe. The venue for round 2 is the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya, a fixture on the calendar since 2015. Located to the north of this popular city, it's a place that has provided many memorable motorsport moments in its 28-year history and always provides plenty of drama for race fans. And drama is something there was no shortage of in the searing heat of Abu Dhabi at the World RX season opener. The blue touch paper was properly lit in the final race of qualifying 3. Two of the pre-season favourites, Timmy Hansen and Andreas Backwards, side by side at the start of the race, and they would end up closer than that. Backer had jokered on lap 2 to cover off a hard-charging Niklas Gronholm, and then on the very next lap it was Timmy's turn to respond. Hansen in the joker, backward on the standard lap as everyone held their breath and then winced. A huge impact which left the RX Cartel Audi of backward stranded, while Hansen somehow managed to continue to take the race win. But at what cost? Both men were visibly shaken and there were emotional Hansen family scenes in the pit lane. But what hurt more was the damage to his Peugeot meant his race weekend was over. Backwards' team performed a minor miracle to get him to the start line for Q4, but it was all in vain. The stewards disqualified the Norwegian for the contact in Q3, meaning he wouldn't make the semis either. A disastrous start for both men, and in Backwards' case, some questions to answer.
Obviously I had a good start. I was second behind Timmy. I was following him very easily, being ready to attack when I got the opportunity. He went to the joker. The leaders normally always take the joker in the last lap, so I kind of was caught in that moment that, oh, it's the last lap, full throttle over the finish line. Then all of a sudden it was a big bang and we hit.
For me it was completely unreal. I did my corner, turned left, and then from nowhere, bam, big hit.
Very unfortunate both for myself and Timmy and his team. But that's the game of Rallycross. I did a stupid mistake with a big consequence, and hopefully it never happens again.
Yeah, Andreas came to see me, and he was obviously feeling horrible. Both of us had our race weekends really quickly over. It's as devastating for him as it is for me. From the rest of the championship, we're gonna be on the back foot. We're gonna chase the guys in front. Yeah, I have to score some big points to catch up.
The drama in the desert didn't end there though. Semi-final 1 saw Rainis Nitish win the prize for biggest air, landing on the roof of a hapless Anton Markland. Kevin Hansen and Timo Scheider escaped the carnage to cruise to the final, while Liam Doran showed Rallycross fans what they've been missing by making this sensational move stick on Timo Timosjanov to take the 3rd spot. In semi-final 2, Niklas Gronholm nearly fell foul of the joker merge, but survived this coming together with Rokas Bachuska to take the win, giving him a front row start alongside Kevin Hansen in the first final of the year. Looking to avenge his brother in the best possible way, Hansen took the lead from the start, but couldn't shake Gronholm. And when the pair made contact on lap 4, the Finn took the lead, and eventually the checkered flag to register his first ever World Rallycross win. Or so he thought. It was all smiles on the podium, but the fireworks had barely fizzled out when the stewards intervened again. A 3-second penalty for pushing and passing dropped Gronholm to 2nd, giving Kevin Hansen his first win and a 30-point perfect weekend. Never have the highs and lows of motorsport been so perfectly demonstrated.
I think I had a really great start. We had a nice battle into turn 1. Then it went really close. He just gave me a tap.
I was trying to be as close as possible if he makes a mistake, and you could see from outside that the car was doing extra moves. He was struggling to get it around. He had a small problem, and yeah, I was close, and that's it.
I don't know if it was intentional or not, but he gave me a tap in the worst moment, and it almost spun me around. In the end, the stewards decided in my favor, so we didn't protest ourselves. It was just, I think, a clear incident where he shouldn't have had the win.
To celebrate the win for 1 hour and then get demoted to P2 is quite harsh, but we need to be faster here to to not have to be behind someone.
After round one then, Kevin Hansen leading the standings with a perfect 30 points. From Niklas Gronholm, Baumanis, Scheider, Szabo, the championship this year is wide open. In the team standings, GRX Tanaco lead by just 1 point from Team Hansen MJP, but the relative pace of all the teams is impressive, and there is a long way to go. One man watching from the safety of his living room, but quite possibly from behind the sofa, was a certain Sir Chris Hoy. The legendary cyclist-turned-race driver makes his World RX debut here in Barcelona. But does the red-hot arena of Rallycross hold any fears for a 6-time Olympic champion?
I'm very excited. I can't wait to get stuck in. Haven't got a huge amount of experience, but just can't wait to get straight in the deep end and have a crack at it. You know, I've been very fortunate. I've driven some pretty impressive bits of kit over the years in different forms of motorsport, but nothing I've driven has that initial launch, that initial pickup. You come out of it with a smile from ear to ear. I wish you could, I wish I had an open base helmet the first time I'd been in it, because it's so much fun. I've got to be realistic. It's about doing the best I can, being the best, being as consistent as I can, getting the best launches, trying to stay with them, trying to learn as much as I can in a really short space of time. It's a huge challenge, but I'm going to give it everything and try and get the most I can out of it.
As the teams make ready for round two, let's take a look at the track for the Cooper Tyres World RX of Catalunya. The circuit to Barcelona, Catalunya, home of course to MotoGP and F1, but most importantly, World RX. 40% dirt, 60% asphalt for this anti-clockwise challenge, and we're going to ride on board for a lap with Kevin Hansen. Off the line and flat out down towards turn one, it's a hairpin left. If you get to pick your line here when there are 5 cars, you're very lucky indeed. On the gas and pulling gears up the hill before switching onto gravel for the first time. Really important to hug the wall on the right-hand side here and make sure you keep the car on the clean piece of track. In close to the wall on the left and then over the jump. Back on the brakes immediately, turning to the right. The standard lap here goes left. We take the joker lap down the hill. Clip apex 1, back into apex 2, and now find the traction and on the gas up for the merge. Your spotter here can help you defend or take a position. One straight at Barcelona, this is it before back on the brakes. It's a very long left-hander on tar. Get the car balanced before you turn it hard to the right, back onto dirt, and then handbrake into the left. Scrabble for traction down the hill. A few more gears on the brakes nice and early. You don't want to overshoot the final hairpin of the track. Handbrake, get the car straight, and gas to the line. Qualifying started badly for Herve Napik, ending up on his roof, and Tom Markland was unable to take the restart, meaning it was a 2-horse race. Kevin Hansen versus Cyril Raymond, both of course coming up through RX2. Hansen managed to get in front of Raymond, and that was how they would finish the race. Race 2, Liam Doran and Timur Timazyanov continued their rivalry from Abu Dhabi. The Russian versus the Brit, with Timur getting the better of turn 1. On the exit of the joker lap, Bachuska got underneath Scheider, but Scheider was back underneath him at the very next turn. Timazyanov took the win. Olympic legend Chris Hoy's World RX debut couldn't have been tougher, drawn against some of the biggest names in the sport. Timmy Hansen backed off in turn 1, making this fantastic move to get underneath Niklas Gronholm and right on the rear bumper of Gulan Shisharit. Through great joker strategy and some quick laps, Hansen was in front come the joker lap merge and set a fantastic time. The final race of Q1, Janis Baumanis and Andreas Baccarat came together in turn 1. Just a light contact sideways from the Latvian saw him out in front. Baccarat, though, was on a mission. He was desperate for a good result after a disastrous Abu Dhabi, and he, like Hansen, was in front come the joker lap merge. The time, however, wasn't as fast. On to Q2, there was contact on the inside at turn 1, and Parsonen tried to make a move. Unfortunately, he clipped the tyres and ended up spinning the car. Karai versus Scheider versus Bachuska. Bachuska was in front, but he was pushing maybe a little bit too hard, and Scheider managed to take enough time out of him to get the overlap and to take the win. Liam Doran in slot number 5 tried for a spectacular round the outside move in his race, but couldn't find enough traction on the exit. Cyril Raymond got the whole shot. Christian Szabo managed to get past Raymond using great joker lap strategy and held on to take his first ever World RX heat race victory. The final race of day one saw Timmy Hansen versus Andreas Backrud on either side of the grid, but it was Timosyanov in the middle who nearly managed to take the lead. Timmy Hansen, though, held on, finding great traction on the run-up to the gravel section, with Backrud dropping to fourth. From then on, Hansen was untouchable. 3 fastest laps in a row meant that he took the win, the fastest time of the day, and the overnight TQ.
It was the best run I've done all year, including all the testing, including any other racing. You know, these 4 laps, finally I feel like I'm 100% back in my zone, and it is the best thing in the world.
Well, thank you very much. Well done today. Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you. Thank you.
Here are the standings then at the end of day one. Timmy Hansen winning both sessions from his brother Kevin Hansen, and Timosyanov an impressive third place. Backrud, Sabo, Raymond, Balmanis and Shishrit are the top 8. Gronholm, Scheider, Bachuska and Doran currently inside the top 12. Everyone else with work to do if they want to make the cut.
Well, it was a mixed Saturday for GC competition and GCK Academy in Q1 and Q2. Their main man, Gerlan Shishri, P8 overnight. And if we can, we're going to grab a quick chat with him right now to get his thoughts. P8 for you. How are you feeling about that coming into Q3?
Yeah, not too bad to be honest, but I think we had the speed to be much better. So on the Q1 we had a good speed, great speed, and was expecting to do the same thing on Q2, but my engine decided something else for me. So what is a little bit frustrating is the same problem I had already in Abu Dhabi. So to avoid the risk for Q3 and Q4, then we just changed the engine.
It was a mixed bag as well, but a good day for Cyril Raymond in your GCK Academy team.
Yeah, it's awesome. You know, we know Cyril is fast. It's just a question of time for him to be confident enough, and really soon I think he will cause some trouble. I'm sure about that.
And a word on Anton Markland as well. What happened with his car?
Yeah, it was a pretty hard day for us because Anton also had a great speed, but on the first lap on the Q2. He damaged the 2 front dampers, and then after he started to drive with 2 dampers off. But you know, let's see for what's going on for after.
And in Q1 there as well a DNS.
Yeah, sorry for this one. Yeah, there was the batteries connection. He lost the whole powers, so because we changed a lot of things, the engine during the winters and a lot of new things. So just a question of learning the cars and be ready, but it's coming.
Well, best of luck to you for Q3. And we did mention there Cyril Raymond, and he is indeed here. Let's talk about that fast start in Q1, 0.050. Did you guess it?
To be honest, for me, I jumped the start. I did my impression just before to see the green light. But sometimes you have to be lucky. And then we got the red flag, but on Q2 I was really lucky one more time because I crossed just behind Bomanis, and then I got the first position. I think it was possible to win my heat, but I did a mistake in the first lap. Still a good race, a good day for me. My Clio working very well. So yeah, I'm really happy.
This is your debut in World RX and your P6 coming into Q3. You must be delighted.
Yeah, of course. It's my first time, it's my best result in World RX at the moment. So we have another day tomorrow. It will be a big day, so we have to stay focused.
Best of luck today.
Thank you.
Hello, my name's Andrew Coley. I will be your commentator today. Joining me, Dan Rook, and reporting from the paddock and the pre-grid, Laura Winter. Here's how we stand going into Q3. Timmy Hansen has won both sessions so far, but remember, he did that in Abu Dhabi as well. Then it's Kevin Hansen, Timosyanov, Backrud, Sabo, Raymond, Balmanis and Shisha at the top 8. Gronholm, Scheider, Bachuska and Doran currently just inside the cutoff for the semis. Here we go then. Race 1 of Q3, sorry. So race 1, Q3, on the inside, Timmy Hansen, Kevin Hansen next to him, and Timosyanov. Those guys have been P1, P2 and P3 in every session so far. Christian Sabo is in 4th and Andreas Backrud in 5th. And that, of course, is from Q2. Overall, Bakkerud is actually sitting fourth with Sabo 1 place behind him. Both those cars EKS run machines. One, of course, for Monster Energy RX Cartel. Sabo an independent. Kevin Hansen, we know, wants to be a bit closer to Timmy overnight. What can he do here? Great start by both the Peugeots on the inside. The Hyundai's with them. Bakkerud going to try and come around the outside on the handbrake. Great start, Andreas Bakkerud. He's alongside Kevin Hansen. Kevin Hansen in the door. Timmy Hansen with a whole shot, and Bakkerud's dropped back to third. Timmy has found mega traction on the exit of turn 1 again.
Yeah, so just being on that inside line, he manages to find the grip. Obviously, all the dust from the track gets thrown to the outside where Andreas was trying to find the traction. Maybe getting a bit of wheel spin as he now ducks out to the Joker lap. Safe move for him there. He's in a fast race. He's not going to be held up, so he's going to try and smash the laps.
So Sabo's gone with him as well. Now, I spoke to Matthias on the phone, I say just before the session, rung up and said, he was like, why are you late? And he was considering going out, but promised me he'd stay in if we were coming up soon, which we are. So we hope, Matthias, you're watching at home. And he was on the phone yesterday to Sabo, gave some advice based on setup from watching the TV, and also some advice on driving where he felt that Christian could push a bit more. I know that Sabo really rates Ekstrom as a bit of guidance. It's fantastic, isn't it, to have a mentor like that, just like these boys, of course, have got their dad as their mentor.
Yeah, of course, so much experience under Matthias and Kenneth Hansen's belt. They can just, it's amazing they can just look at a car on the track.
Yeah, on the TV. Remotely team managing, I like it. So Timmy Hansen leading from Kevin Hansen. The gap is 9/10. We spoke to Graham Rodemark just before the session down, and Kevin wasn't happy about how far off the pace he was of Timmy.
No, obviously, you know, it's good for Kevin to be up in P2, good for the team, but of course, you know what it's going to be like, brother rivalry. He's going to be wanting to be all over Timmy, so he's going to be working hard today, big push.
Bakkerud is currently 4.2 off. Is he closing that gap down? No, he's not. So Bakkerud has lost a couple of tenths in that last lap. So at the minute, I think they could stand to get in front of Timazyanov. Timazyanov, I'm guessing, will stay out long unless they decide to send him to defend it now. You're on board with Bakkerud. So Kevin goes Joker now. Where's that going to bring him out? Bakkerud might well have got in front of Kevin Hansen. He has. Kevin's going to carry a ton of speed on the exit. Where is he with Bakkerud? He's right up underneath the rear wing. Great move then. Kevin has gone 1 lap too late, and Bakkerud, although he lost time to Timmy, has gained time on Kevin and has managed to get the overlap. Fantastic tactics for Bakkerud.
Yeah, awesome job by the RX Cartel boys there to get him in the first lap and find him some clean air. Maybe, you know, the Hansen guys weren't expecting the pace from him, and he's on a big charge.
Timazyanov 2.9 off Hansen now. Behind him is 2 seconds back to Bakkerud. So and about 2.5 seconds back to Kevin. So I think Timmer here stands to potentially come out behind all 3 cars, because Sabo is right up underneath the rear wing of Kevin as well. The leader's into the joke lap. Timmy's going to come out clearly in front. Whereabouts is the Russian going to merge, and what can he do on the exit? Sabo's going to stay tight. Timazyanov going to try and go around the outside, but he hasn't got enough extra pace. Bakkerud locks the front left on the way in. Timmy Hansen, though, has just been smashing the laps in. They're all in the 43s. 2 43.3s and a 43.6. This is going to be a hell of a benchmark for a first run. Timmy Hansen down to the last hairpin with a stream of cars behind him, but look at the gap between him and the rest of the top of the pack. Timmy Hansen takes it. The time is 3:06.7. Wow, okay. So that's like a full 5 seconds faster than he went in Q1 yesterday, and it's nearly 2 seconds faster than he went in Q2. So the track is very fast indeed. Dan, what have you seen?
I've just seen as Kevin and Andreas come over the line, Kevin all over the back of Andreas, maybe not happy with something on track. It'd be interesting to find out later on what's going on.
I didn't see anything untoward myself.
I could just see as they came over the finish line and heading towards turn 2, Kevin almost went in the gravel trap to try and get up beside Andreas there. So.
Okay, well, yeah, it's racing. Nobody likes getting beaten, do they? Well, let's wait and see if we can glean any more information, maybe from the replays. Timmy Hansen takes it with a mega time, 3:06.7. Bakkerud, Kevin Hansen, Sabo, and Timazyanov. But of course, we have 3 races still to come, because the grids for Q3 have been flipped and the fast guys have gone first. Looking at track conditions, we don't think the track will develop, so that could well be a 3rd qualifying session win for Timmy Hansen. Timmy joked with me yesterday that he, despite Abu Dhabi going terribly, he had at least won every session he'd done, which I thought was quite fun, all things considered. Laura Winter is down with Timmy Hansen now, so the Peugeot's made its way round to the holding area, and we can go and have a chat with Timmy Hansen. We can't? Okay, so no, we can't. Timmy's disappeared for now, apologies. Okay, so we've got Timmy Hansen back, so let's head down to Laura and have a catch-up with the winner of that first race.
Timmy, 3:06. You said to me yesterday after Q2 it was a brilliant run, probably boring for the TV because it was so good. How would you rate that one compared?
Yeah, that one was maybe even better. We made some improvements overnight. There were 2 corners. Kevin were quicker than me. I think I was able to go a bit faster there, and also in the Joker I improved a bit. I think we had an issue with the radio through the run, so usually my dad is pushing me really hard, but now I couldn't hear him. So I got a bit suspicious, and then Susan, my mom, jumped on the radio and told me to Joker on the last lap. So it was, yeah, it could have gone very bad there, but I came into the Joker and we got this place. So it's going so well, it's almost too good to be true.
We shall see. Well done. Well, that's quite a benchmark to set. Good luck for Q4.
Thank you.
Well, Q3 race 1, Timmy Hansen with an absolutely fantastic start. Backward tried to come around the outside. Timmy was up the inside of his brother, but it's that tight line on the exit, and there is actually still some dirt on it. We ride on board with Kevin, but just somehow Timmy's hooking it up.
Yeah, of course, and well, Andreas and Kevin there together, you know, four-wheel drifting out, that's losing momentum.
There was contact at the start, wasn't there, between Kevin and Andreas as well, so potentially that's why Kevin wasn't quite so happy at the end of the race. That was the merge, which we didn't unfortunately see the end of, but I didn't see anything untoward here, and you know, with Kevin being behind, it's pretty hard to for the driver in front to have annoyed you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I wonder if the post-race beef was about turn 1. But Timmy Hansen into the joke lap said after the race that his mum had got onto him on the radio because he was having radio communication issues. No issues with the time though. That is a stunner from Timmy Hansen. Race 2, and Anton Markland tried to go round the outside, but he couldn't make the move stick. Timo Scheider got the whole shot, but later in the race, an issue for Timo meant he had to pull the Sauterbeater off to the side of the road. Come the Joker lap merge, Baumanis managed to get in front of the rest of the pack, but he was behind Markland. A great time from Anton, considering his issues earlier in the weekend. Okay, let's take a look at the lineup then for Q3 Race 3. Niklas Gronholm on the inside, Gulan Schischrit next to him, Liam Doran in the middle of the grid, Tamas Karai, and then Guillaume de Ridder. Marshals are leaving the grid. Little look at Niklas. Clutch down. You stick that into second gear there, did he? Looked like 2 pulls on the gear lever. Full RPM coming up, whatever they've got the settings on the dash. Here we go. Start across the board, but Gronholm tidily away into turn 1. Doran in a sandwich there between. No, Schischrit up the inside. Can't quite find the traction that Timmy Hansen has managed to. So Gronholm gets up onto the gravel section first. Doran is down into P3. De Ridder 4th and Karai in 5th. Great start, Gronholm. Second gear?
Yeah, second gear off the line there. So a lot of these guys will probably be starting in second gear. It gives you that little bit of an extra advantage. The guys that start in first gear, they will get the initial launch, but then when it comes to the gear change up to second, you lose a fractions of a tenth. So starting in second, you get that extra long pull from the line to gain that little small advantage.
Yeah, very nicely done by Niklas Gronholm. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do here. He was quickest, wasn't he, this morning in morning warm-up? He was quickest in free practice 1 yesterday. But I say with the issues that he had, he'd like to move a bit further up. Gronholm's currently down in 9th place.
Yeah, fantastic job here. You can see he's starting to pull a gap already to Schischrit behind him. And just riding on board with him looks extremely calm and collective. Small movements on the small inputs in the steering wheel and handbrake, but just keeping it real smooth.
So we'll keep an eye on Gronholm's lap times. We know that Hyundai is very fast. Of course, Timothy Arnold has been in P3 all weekend. He hasn't managed to hold that. Timothy Arnold's P7 in this session at the minute. But, oh my goodness me. So Gronholm's done a 43.0 for the first lap. So Gronholm's gone 3/10 quicker than Hansen on the first lap. This is on. So Niklas Gronholm is on for this. It's got to be a mistake-free run because we know Timmy's was very good indeed. 43.7, so now he's dropped 7/10 on that one. Fastest lap of the day, as you can see, 43.0 was his first lap. So can Gronholm take this session from Timmy Hansen, drag himself up the standings a bit? Is Gronholm going to be on for another win here? Of course, he took the win in Abu Dhabi, only held it for an hour before it was given to Kevin Hansen, but we'd like to see him in the mix. Shisha, it goes Joker, going to come out. Where's Doran going to be? Doran's already gone. I think Doran's far enough in front. Shisha, it might trouble him. He's got a lot of pace on the exit, but Liam Doran's going to hold the position. And he does, so just Gronholm and De Ridder to go. De Ridder looking in danger of dropping a couple of places. He might get out in front of Karai, but this is a close old fight between Doran and Shisha. Gronholm crosses the line with another 43.7. So I must admit, I didn't see the other laps from Timmy Hansen. We're only comparing fastest laps here, but we are on the last lap, and this is going to be close, Dan.
Yeah, extremely. So really good to see the pace of the I-20 there. Lots of sideways through the corner, but balancing it up on the brakes.
Fantastic exit from that corner. 3:06.7 is the target time, bottom right of your screen. That's what Niklas Gronholm is chasing. Where is Gronholm now? Doran and Shisha at P2 and P3. But Gronholm, we know, is looking for a perfect lap out front. Here it is, tidy around the hairpin. On the gas, bit of wheel spin down the hill, keeping it on that tidy line. He'll be late on the brakes. This corner is crucial. Handbraking away. Super close, but it's not quite enough, is it? It's 2/10 of a second. 2/10 of a second. Gronholm is bang on the pace of Hansen, and that's the first time this weekend that Timmy Hansen has been seriously challenged on the clocks. Niklas Gronholm, the winner for an hour in Abu Dhabi, has just come close to beating Hansen's time. That is a fantastic run from the Finn. Great job, Dan.
Yeah, fantastic job. The I-20 is looking strong.
Result then, Niklas Gronholm 3:06.9. Liam Doran in second place, 3:09.9. That's a good run for him as well. Shisha, De Ridder and Tamas Karai. Where do they all slot in? So Gronholm goes second, Doran goes sixth. Fantastic run. Look at those times at the top. It is close. So off the start. Brilliant start from Gronholm. We know he was in second because we were on board with him when he took the gears. Doran got squeezed out there, didn't he? And Shisha looked for the inside line. Sensible tactics, but couldn't quite get enough of a run on him.
Yeah, so Gronholm maybe carrying that little bit extra speed by not having to tighten the corner up so much and just got the better exit.
Now also, Dan, thinking about it, lap one, you're coming off the standard lap to cross the start-finish line. That's why we're seeing fastest laps, isn't it, on lap one?
Yeah, so, you know, obviously the first corner off the start is faster. It's not so tight. They're able to carry more momentum, so it tends to be the fastest lap of the race.
Interesting stuff. I wonder when Timmy did his. We'll check the results.
Niklas, the fastest lap of the day so far and just 2/10 slower than Timmy Hansen. Is this game on?
Yeah, I think so. I made a slight mistake down the jump. I went too out on the jump, and yeah, slight mistake. Otherwise, I had it, but yeah, it was a clean run.
Thank you very much. Well done, and best of luck for Q4.
The final race of Q4, on board with Olympic legend Chris Hoy down towards turn one behind his teammate Oliver Bennett and up against Parsnan as well. Bennett was leading, but you can see here the suspension broke, smoke from the tyre, the wheel moving in the arch, and worse to come, a spin for him down in the Joker lap. Chris Hoy, meanwhile, very nearly took a heat race win on his World Championship debut. Parsnan shut the door and he was unable to get through the small gap. Restarting the car though, he dragged it to the finish. Parsnan took the win, but a brilliant performance by Hoy. Well, as always for you, we have some fantastic slow motion pictures to take a look at. This was Anton Markland over the jump during practice. And Dan, not too bad, maybe a little bit of work to do.
Yeah, maybe a little bit soft there on the landing maybe, but all around generally just landing. We're going to see the same again, the flying very well. Landing and just absorbing the impact from obviously car landing hard on the ground.
This is Kevin Hansen coming off the jump and then into the left of the standard lap. And in fact, there you can see quite a few inputs. Dan, it's downhill into a double long left-hander, which the exit is crucial from, but it's coming off the jump. Yeah, the car's unsettled from what we've seen the landing in the previous shots.
Yeah, so they're having to really use the brake to settle the car down, get it slowed, and try and bring the nose of the car around. In this corner, they've got to be quite careful not to run too wide. So, and obviously with it being downhill as well, scrubbing off that speed to get it in.
Liam Doran up through the very long left-hander. Reverse direction, of course, that is used in F1 and MotoGP, and this is so important to getting a good lap time here, this whole section.
Yeah, so holding it really tight around that left-hander. You can see Harl on the brakes, weighting the front of the car up to get the nose in. Just pitching the nose around again, and then on the brake pedal once again. Start to rotate the weight of the car around. Nip on the handbrake, you can see the back wheels locking up there, just to get a little bit more rotation on and then try and straighten the car up on exit.
All four wheels nice and straight, best traction possible for Liam there. And you can see as well some rubber marks on the inside of the tyre wall there. Just so accurate, these guys nailing it every time. Timmy Hansen, super close into the barrier on the right-hand side, look, and the same thing down, settle the car. You can see there's a fair bump there on the transition from tarmac to gravel.
Yeah, so obviously where these guys have been coming through and hitting the brake pedal is maybe cutting out slightly. You can see on the inside there as well, there's a bit of a groove formed where obviously everyone's running their front wheel around the inside of the corner. So Timmy there, very smooth in through that section, not too much sideways at all, and getting the rotation down.
Then it's a kink right, and of course the run down to the final corner, the hairpin. Gronholm, so fast in Abu Dhabi. Into the left-hander in the Hyundai i20.
Yeah, fantastic. There you can see the back wheel once again, just locking up. They're not holding the handbrake for very long at all. They're just tiny bit on it just to break traction.
Fantastic stuff. Just one qualifying session remains here in Spain for the World Championship regulars, and Timmy Hansen is on for a clean sweep. He's won all three so far. Kevin Hansen, Bakr Timozyanov, Gronholm, Sabo, Baumanis and Shisharit are the top 8. At the minute, Raymond, Doran, Bachuska and Scheider are in. Everybody else fighting hard for a place in the semis. Chris Hoy on the inside, very nearly took a race win last time out. Timo Scheider is 12th after Q3. He's right on the bubble, needs to get himself a bit further forward. Have they managed to fix that car? And Oliver Bennett on the outside. They're all on used tyres. Chris Hoy was really keen to get everything right this weekend. I think he's done brilliantly. Such a complicated car, you can see. He looks down at this wheel, gets everything set and good to go. Green light, good reaction times across, but Hoy's bogged on the start, so Hoy drops back. Scheider up the inside of Bennett. Bennett's going to try and shut the door. Scheider's going to try and find the traction on the exit. Scheider's alongside him just about, but no, Bennett's got the inside line for the right-hander, and Hoy playing catch-up now.
Yeah, disappointing start there for Hoy. He's going to be kicking himself, you know. It's looking like he may not make the semi-finals, so for this to be his last race of the weekend, he's unfortunately bogged on the line, so not the best of starts.
There we go. Bennett in front of Scheider. Scheider hasn't joked, of course, because he doesn't want to end up behind Chris Hoy, and that's Scheider is a professional driver in the very latest Supercar car. Chris Hoy is on his first World RX outing in a car that's a couple of seasons old.
Yeah, so smart move there from the All-England team.
Straight up the inside of Bennett, so Bennett with a problem. Scheider just nails him straight past, no problem. And that is ideal, because I was just about to say that it's going to hurt Scheider having to be behind Bennett.
Yeah, so I'd expect we'll see now Scheider's going to be jokering on the last lap, I would have thought. So making the most of the clean track in front of him to really nail some laps.
So Scheider then gets away with it in terms of tactics, didn't win the start. It shows you how quick Bennett's Mini is off the start. Very impressive indeed. Is it a Pipo engine in the Mini? I can't remember.
Yeah, I believe it is a Pipo motor, so very strong motor. I believe they used to run the Pipo in Solberg's DS3, if I'm not wrong.
Scheider clips the tyre rails on the inside. Bennett was super sideways running. Bennett's on a big push here. Fair go. Nice bit of sideways business up on the tarmac. Chris Hoy's not a million miles off the back of them either. Scheider in 12th. Who was behind Scheider in the standings? De Ridder, Karai. I think Scheider's safe, to be honest, but again, Dan, he wants to be further up. Bennett super sideways again, but this time he drops the rear left into the dirt, and look at the gap now between him and Timo Scheider. Yeah, obviously Ollie's having a big push to try and keep with Scheider, but just not able to keep it tidy enough and dropping back, unfortunately. So Chris Hoy now goes into the Joker lap. On board with Hoy, looking forward. This is where it went wrong last time. Of course, he was coming out of the Joker, went up the inside of Parson. You can see why he had to brake, because that wall on the left does not move. So he did the right thing. You don't want to end your weekend in the wall. Fantastic car control, look. You can see the angle of his steering wheel as he came down the straight there. Obviously, it was a quick turnaround for these boys to try and get that car fixed. And his steering was dropped slightly off to the right, so maybe not time to get the tracking quite right on the car. Scheider, every inch of the road, right out to the wall on the left-hand side before the jump. He will Joker now. Scheider in. Bennett in behind him. Tidily done for the exit with Scheider. It's hard to tell, isn't it? You know, they say straight is fast, but he was straight on the exit, and that's where you want the traction. Yeah, of course. He got the rotation early on in the corner to just get the drive and punch the throttle out of the corner, so he would have had a good top speed come the end of the straight. Timo Scheider running down towards the bottom of the hill. We know the track is fast at the minute. We don't have a benchmark for Supercar yet, but RX2 was so quick this time round. What's Scheider going to do? 3:11.4. It would have seen him up there in the mix in the top 5 in most sessions, so it's a good time for Scheider. On board with Chris Hoy on his final laps, unless a lot of people have problems, he won't make it through to the semis, but I think a fantastic performance by him this weekend. He's come into a World Championship in which he is not familiar and done a stand-up job, so well done, Chris Hoy. P3 in this one. Bennett is second. Timo Scheider in first. Can Chris Hoy hold on for one World Championship point? He would love that.
Timo, a 3:11 for you there, cleaner run. What did you make of your performance in Q4?
Well, I unfortunately lost the start against Ollie, so that cost quite a bit of time in the first lap. That was a shame, but anyway, I'm quite a bit disappointed because the performance is pretty good this weekend from the pure lap time, but we had a technical issue in Q3 leading the field and had to stop the race more or less. And right now, yeah, we just went through Q4 and now we see what the outcome will be.
Thank you, well done.
Final car coming up to the grid. Let's take a look at the lineup for race 2, Q4. De Ridder on the inside, Rokas Bakchuska next to him, Cyril Raymond in the middle, Tamas Karai and Yanni Parsonen. Look underneath and you can see their positions. De Ridder just outside the top 12, Bakchuska just in, Cyril Raymond having a brilliant weekend in 9th. Karai and Parsonen, I think, unlikely to make it. Waiting for a thumbs up from the marshal. Here he goes. Points towards those all-important start lights. Ready to race comes on. Listen to that. Great start by Raymond in the middle, but goes backwards. Another mega reaction, but he didn't get it right. De Ridder with contact. Karai goes round, so does Parsonen. It's De Ridder versus Raymond on the right hill. Guillaume De Ridder is in front of Cyril Raymond. Cyril Raymond drops back. So Cyril really lucky to recover to there. Again, Dan, you saw the nose come up first, so the reaction is great, but the settings are not quite right. Yeah, just can't quite get it right there, but obviously he played into his hands there. You know, maybe if he was in the carnage, in amongst that, he would have been taken out, so able to sort of sit back and watch what happens. Parsonen's done well as well. Karai hasn't made it out of turn 1. He's sitting at the bottom of the hill. He's just restarted the car now, so De Ridder won't be troubled by that. He's not going to catch him up in this. You can hear the wastegates chattering away. Smoke pouring from the rear of Cyril Raymond's car, and I'm guessing that's maybe a little nudge somewhere. Yeah, you can see the rear bumper of the car is folded and under, rubbing against the tyre, so hopefully there's not going to be anything sharp in there that could cause a puncture, but he's going to be smelling tyre smoke in the car, which isn't going to be ideal for him. So De Ridder versus Raymond. Raymond having the better weekend, I say. He's P9, De Ridder is P13. De Ridder's best was 11th. Cyril Raymond has had a 6th, but they're around similar pace to each other on the weekend so far. They both had issues in Abu Dhabi. And Cyril, of course, does have more experience in a supercar, Dan.
Yeah, I believe he's driven a supercar a little bit in the French Championship, as well as obviously the European Series last year, where he put in some amazing performances in an Hansen 208. So for him to obviously, he's changing cars now, not a supercar he's used to, and a whole new team and setup. But as we see Parson there, getting it a bit wide, and you could just see as he went onto the loose on the outside of the corner there, just the effect it has, and just took him around.
Raymond still behind his teammate. I wonder if they now will feel, with the mistakes for people behind, that they've got room to do some tactics. If they're going to split the tactics, it needs to be now, and they do. And they sent De Ridder.
Yeah, so surprising there. I thought we'd see Cyril going in before, but
is that the team, though, releasing Raymond? You know what I mean? Are they going safe and send? If they feel Raymond's the faster car, they might release Raymond and keep De Ridder back. I think they'll both look at the smoke off the back of that.
Yeah, potentially. I mean, it doesn't seem to have obviously affected them too much. De Ridder's just slotted back into second position, so either way around they went, I think they would have had, both of them had clear air to both try and put a lap in and find it out fairly.
Well, that's what they're going to do now, isn't it? So it's 2.5 from Raymond back to De Ridder at the minute. De Ridder will hold on to that position. They've just crossed the line, so Cyril Raymond open over the jump. He's going to go Joker now. Oh, backs it right in, clips the tyres on the inside. Go on, Cyril, sends it into the Joker. On the inside, his teammate De Ridder. Cyril's going to get better exit speed, but De Ridder is clearly in front, and I don't think he can do anything from there. He's going to try everything he can, isn't he? He's absolutely full gas everywhere to try and catch up. De Ridder holding the car just about to the tight line on the inside. Just keep it tidy now. You can keep your teammate behind you. Always nice to beat your teammate. Guillaume De Ridder, still learning a supercar. Great job, holds on to take the heat race win ahead of Cyril Raymond. Bachuska coming across the line in third, and the other two drivers, Karai showing us not completing the laps, and Parsonen too, so they won't come round to the finish. Timing screen showing they have disappeared from the circuit. De Ridder with a 3:09.4 as well. It's a couple of seconds quicker than Scheider, so great job. Guillaume De Ridder takes this one from his teammate Cyril Raymond. Bachuska in third, DNFs for Parsonen and Karai. And look at this. De Ridder and Raymond to the top of the table ahead of Timo Scheider. Bachuska slots into fourth. So let's have a look at turn one down. It's a little bit messy. Yeah, it's hard. To be honest with you, it's hard to lay the blame at anyone's door there. I think there were about 3 incidents going on, weren't there?
Yeah, just a big squeeze, and then, well, you can see there for Cyril, having not got the best of starts, but then just able to tuck underneath it all and get a good drive away and slot back in behind his teammate De Ridder. So
a little bit of tyre smoke for him, nothing too dramatic. Parsonen caught up a little bit in that turn one incident, and then more issues. So tough weekend for him with the start team. I think we're going to see him later on in the year. That was Cyril Raymond really pushing hard on the way into the Joker, but it was his teammate Guillaume De Ridder who did the job this time round, and he takes the heat race win.
Guillaume, a great race and a great battle against your teammate as well, Cyril Raymond. Talk me through that. It was a great time as well.
Yeah, I'm really happy of the hit I've done. Obviously the start was a bit tough and hot. I got hit at the beginning, so it was a bit messy, but afterwards I tried to concentrate and put some clear laps, fast laps, so that was a good hit, good strategy by the team also. Now we'll see where we'll end up in the rankings, because obviously the fastest guys are coming, so we'll see.
Thank you very much, well done.
Okay, cars are on the line, let's have a look. Race 3, Q4. Liam Doran, Yanis Baumanis, Christian Sabo, Gulan Shisharit and Timur Timozyanov. Timozyanov in fourth. Look has gone for 2 new boots and 2 new fronts for Liam down in 10th. 6th and 7th for Sabo and Baumanis, 8th for Shisharit. So these guys are all in the mix. Liam, I think, is the one who would stand to gain the most by moving up a few places in terms of his qualifying position. He's on the inside. What can he do? A little gap between Baumanis and Doran, giving themselves a bit of space. There's the view of the lights from behind. Quite a long hold. Sabo did not got the best reaction times. He's going to get squeezed. Shisharit across the front of them all. Sideways on the gas. He might hold on, but he doesn't. Losing too much time. Baumanis, contact with Doran. Sabo's up the inside of both, but he can't get it done. Timur Timosyanov going to go down the right-hand side. Timosyanov holds on to third, but it is Balmanis finally who ends up in front with Doran right underneath him.
Yeah, Shistra there getting a fantastic start, but just hanging it around the outside and getting out onto that dirty ground and just can't get the traction away. So Liam here, jokering from second position.
And Sabo goes with him as well, so both those cars going in to the Joker on lap 1. Again, they can do this, they can afford to not worry about catching up with those guys in front, and if they haven't got what they want, you know, we often see this, don't we? The leader, Balmanis, will hold on as long as he dares, unless the spotters think the others are gaining on him too quickly.
Yeah, so it's all going to depend on that gap now. They're going to be studying the times, split sections, everything, to see whether they can get him in and out and find a hole.
You've done spotting as well. What's more stressful? Because I think it's spotting, to be honest. You're up here with stopwatches and looking at the timing screens, trying to juggle and figure out whether you're gaining or not. It's split-second decisions.
Oh, yeah, it is. You're watching the times, but you're also watching the what the driver's doing. If you can see him making any obvious mistakes whilst he's out on track, to maybe give a bit of coaching feedback from what you can see from the people around him as well. So you're not just watching the clock, you're watching everything.
And the worst thing is, of course, if you do an amazing Joker strategy, the driver's a legend for winning, and if it's a terrible Joker strategy, you're awful.
Yeah, so it's just unfortunately the way it goes. You're you're the hidden brains behind it.
Huge part of it, an absolutely huge part of this fantastic sport is the tactics involved. So Balmanis, Timosyanov, Shistra, at the minute the gap back to Doran is 4.1 from the leader. But remember, Timosyanov and Shistra a little way more in reach than that. So at the minute, I think Doran would definitely get Shistra. I wonder if they'll send him to try and defend the position. Timosyanov goes. Timosyanov has gone. Is that in defence to the guys behind? Super sideways Joker trying to find the exits. Going to get Sabo. Oh, he's up the inside of Doran. Great job, Timosyanov. Doran's in the gravel on the outside sideways. Sabo surely will go up the inside here. Can't quite find the gap. Doran there trying to carry the pace, but Timosyanov getting him back for that move in Abu Dhabi.
Yeah, I'm surprised there for Doran not shutting the door soon enough. I would have thought his spotters would have been on the radio saying he's coming fast, get over, but just leaving it a bit too late, and Timosyanov able to get him.
Nice work by GRX there to look at Liam coming in from the rear and decide to send Timosyanov to defend it. And of course, Shistra now is in that awkward position where it's too late. We know he's going to go into traffic because of where he was in track position. Balmanis goes in, Shistra goes in. So can Balmanis get out in front to Timmer? I think he can around the outside. Is Timmer going to hold that inside line where Shistra is? We can't see where he is. He's around the outside of Doran. Oh, so Shistra slots in front of Sabo. That's still a very impressive performance. Shistra is having, for me, probably his strongest World RX weekend so far. Towards the finish line now, it's about the time which Balmanis can do. Derrida is quickest with a 3:09.4. 3:09.7, so Derrida's time is really good. Derrida's time is really good, 3:09.4. Might he make it through to the semi-finals? And at least 2 or 3 of those drivers are going to slot in between Derrida and Scheider. Balmanis takes Q4 race 3 from Timosyanov, Doran and Shisharit. Sabo in 5th. And that's where they slot in. Derrida at the moment is leading the standings in Q4, and there is 1 race still to go. So off the line down towards turn 1, look, little nudge for Shistra. Got on the gas, he kind of had to. He got to get on the gas to hold the slide, but he was hoping that he might get the old round the outside.
Well, yeah, obviously once the rotation's on, you need to just plant your foot on the throttle, lock all the diffs up and try and pull yourself out of that situation.
Yeah, nicely done. Didn't quite work out. Somebody shedding body parts on the way round as well. This was Timosyanov and Doran, so watch for the merge here. Fantastic job for him getting up the inside. Look at that, the speed he carried out the Joker, and Doran just running the car a bit wide. He was obviously committed on the throttle early. Balmanis and Shisharit going into the Joker at the end of the run. But it was the Latvian Balmanis who held on for the checkered flag.
Well, P2 at the moment, overall 3:09.7 with 1 race to come. How are you feeling looking ahead to the semi-final?
It feels quite okay. I would like some changes on the car right now, but I think this is for my mom because she her birthday today, so happy birthday, Mom. At least I can tell to all the world that my mom's birthday, but yeah, still some work to do for the car and for the driving, so yeah, but that's good. At least we get some heat win, and I look forward for the semi-finals.
Another bonus of getting a race win, getting on camera to wish your mum happy birthday. Well done to you.
Cheers.
Final race of qualifying, Q4, race 4. Timmy Hansen on the inside. Next to him, Niklas Gronholm, the only man to have got super close to Hansen on the timesheets this weekend. Did it in the last session. Anton Markman third, Andreas Backerud fourth on the grid, and Kevin Hansen out in fifth. But you can see where they are. Markman in 17th, a brilliant performance in Q3 to end up in here. The other 4 drivers fighting for positions on the front row in the semis. Again, the gap between Gronholm and Hansen on the inside. That's what people are tending to do to get a little bit of room off the start. This one's crucial for the top qualifier spot. Jump start Markland. So that takes him out of contention. I wonder if he'll joker early and stay out of the way of the other guys. I doubt it, because they want to prove the pace of the car.
Yeah, exactly. So obviously it's all going to depend on his start. If he's, you know, at the back. Andreas there just releasing the handbrake once he sees the flashing lights. It's so easy when you see that jump start sensor to actually go yourself.
Yeah, because you see, it's another light, isn't it? You're looking for another light. Once the ready to race has gone out, any light comes on, you're like, go, go, go.
Yeah.
But yeah, Markman significantly jumping there. Kevin Hansen resets everything for a second attempt at the start. Revs are up, here we go. But this time we're away. Hansen, Gronholm will get up on the inside, but Backerud looks to have great pace. Can he go round the outside? Gronholm's going to get it potentially. Hansen, though, on that inside line he's used all weekend. Finds the traction again, pushes across on Gronholm. Gronholm out in the dirt. Oh, Backerud has to slot in between Markland, and it's Kevin Hansen who's at the back of the pack.
Yeah, so not such a good start there for Kevin Hansen from the outside of the grid, but fantastic to have Timmy and Gronholm here together.
Yes, this is what we want to see, a fight between Gronholm and Timmy, and Gronholm has laid the gauntlet down straight away. See you later. I'm going in the Joker lap. I'm going to smash the lap times in and see if I can beat you. What do you do if you're the Hansens now?
I mean, obviously, you've got Timmy's got his own clear air, but, you know, do you go now that the gap is there?
I'd go to protect the position right now, because why give him the chance? If you're in front of him, it doesn't matter what the time is. Does it protect it? But let's see. We'll find out soon enough. Backward behind Markland. Markland has to joker twice, so he knows he'll go within a couple of laps. But Timmy Hansen, fastest lap of the day, responds with a 43.0. Markland runs the car a bit wide. You're on board with Backward. Hansen with a massive jump. Does he go joker to protect the line? Now he doesn't. So Hansen is confident enough that he's got the pace to hold Gronholm off.
Yeah, so Gronholm here as well. I can see on the time screens he's dropping a couple tenths here every sector, so maybe not got the pace he had in Q3, unfortunately, but of course, maybe he's making some mistakes. He'll start to square his driving up. We never know.
I suspect a load of these guys as well are holding on to tyres here, Dan, because it doesn't seem quite so tyre critical. Abu Dhabi was super hot, you know. We've got places like Loiak where it's super abrasive, but we're not seeing loads of new tyres, so I wonder if people are holding on to them for the semis, and then we're going to see a true pace comparison.
Yeah, of course. I mean, you don't know how much work everyone's tyres have done, so obviously when we get to the semis, they're going to have all new boots on, and we'll be able to see what everyone can do.
Brilliant on board with Backward there. You saw him just nipping the handbrake a bit, and that wasn't really to rotate the car, it's just to release the rear end.
Yeah, so a lot of these cars have like a diff release, if you like. So on the handbrake, they've got like a secondary cylinder, master cylinder, that releases some sort of plates in like the centre diff. So it releases the drive to the rear wheels and effectively makes it a front-wheel drive car temporarily.
So it makes it turn in a little bit more easily.
Yeah, so you don't have the back wheels trying to drive.
Gronholm just in front of Markland. Markland with another joker to do, but Gronholm is up to 4.6 now, so the Hansen's making the right decision to leave Timmy out there. It's not going quite so well for Kevin either behind these guys. Markland, of course, if he'd had only one joker, will be ahead of Kevin, so Markland's showing the pace, but it is the last lap. Into the joker lap goes Timmy Hansen and Andreas Backerud. Where's Backerud going to merge? Hansen's going to be clearly in front. Can Backerud do anything about Gronholm? He manages to get past Kevin, so Andreas Backerud passes Kevin Hansen, but Gronholm manages to hold on to P2. Timmy Hansen aiming for the fastest time of the day. I'm sure at the minute it's a 3:06.742. His time from the previous session. This session is led by Derrida on a 3:09. Over the line, 3:05.3. Timmy Hansen with the fastest time of the weekend in Q4. The track has got faster. He has remained exceptionally quick all weekend, and it is a clean sweep of qualifying for Timmy Hansen. He's on for his first ever clean sweep of a weekend. Timmy Hansen takes it from Niklas Gronholm, Andreas Backrud, Kevin Hansen and Anton Markland. They slot in, leaving De Ridder in 5th place. That's certainly his best performance in the World Championship so far. Kevin 4th, Backrud 3rd, Niklas, but Timmy Hansen winning the session again. All 4 qualifying sessions have gone his way. Gronholm not quite so close this time, but what will new tyres do come the semi-finals, if they've got them?
Well, Timmy, you said to me it seemed too good to be true after Q3. It's just got that little bit better. 4 from 4, a 3:05.3. What more can we expect from you?
I think a perfect qualifying with 200 points. I think it's just happened 2 times before, if I'm not wrong. If it's Backerud and Kristoffersson, both in Norway. So this feels like a huge achievement. And I think I said in Q2 it was my best run of the year, then Q3 was even better, and now I think this one was the best. So I'm fine-tuning myself, and it's just going so well. I'm completely in my zone. I'm pushing as hard as I can.
Much more to come in the semi-final and potentially final, I'm sure. Best of luck. Thank you.
Well, Timmy Hansen responding to that weekend in Abu Dhabi in emphatic style. Top of the table, winning all 4 qualifying sessions. It's his brother Kevin who's P2. Niklas Gronholm, though, is P3, which means it will be Hansen versus Gronholm on the front row of semi-final 1, and then Kevin Hansen versus Backrud on the front row of semi-final 2. Timozyanov, Baumanis, Raymond, Sabo, the top 8. Who's made it? Shishrit, Doran, De Ridder is in. Timo Scheider makes it as well. Bachuska, Karai, Markland, Chris Hoy doesn't make it, but the Olympic legend scores an FIA World Championship point. Job done. Well, an incredible performance by Timmy Hansen all weekend long. Crowd enjoying the action so far, and of course they've got a little bit more to come. 2 semi-finals for the World Championship, the RX2 final and the Round 2 World RX final. We're going to head down to the pre-grid in a minute, have a look and see who we can find down there. And in fact, I'm hearing that Laura has managed to find Polis Bargaro, MotoGP rider for KTM. And he's been here, in fact, taking part in the buggy racing this weekend. So we're going to go down and get his thoughts on that. We've seen a fair bit of carnage in the buggies. I don't know whether he was involved in any of it or not, but here he is with Laura Winter now.
Paul, buggy racing, tell me about it. How's it been?
That's been one of the most beautiful and crazy experience I ever done. Even if I'm racing in MotoGP, this is crazy. And yeah, it's so lucky to feel and to live this world inside like I am. So I'm super happy.
And MotoGP, what's coming up next?
Yeah, we are going to Jerez in Wednesday because we have next Sunday race in Spain, the first one in Europe. So it's going to be fun. Come back Europe with all the fans. It's going to be super nice.
And talk me through what it's like actually in one of those buggies on this track. Very different, I'd imagine, to being on the bike.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I felt everything so much stressful than in the bike. I have the control, or looks like I have the control on the bike. But here, everything, it's bigger than me, and I cannot control the wheels. They are, yeah, it's difficult. It's so difficult for me, tricky, because the distance I have to the other rivals it looks big, but it's quite short, and it's pretty crazy for me. But anyway, it's been, yeah, one of the most beautiful experience and crazy ones.
So if a buggy is big, what about one of these cars?
Yeah, I prefer to don't talk about these cars because, yeah, I was talking to Hansen, and for me that it's impossible. I mean, this car looks big, powerful, and yeah, and with the buggies you can do some mistake. With that one, no mistakes allowed. So yeah, to see them racing, it's fantastic. Also here in Catalunya, very close from the track, and to see these guys fighting each other in the first corner is, yeah, it's crazy. It's super nice.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Great to have Polis Bargaro here this weekend. Absolutely fantastic. And Dan, to see the look on his face there, he obviously loved the buggies. This is a dude that races MotoGP.
Yeah, so we've been watching the buggies, haven't we, today, and there's been some crazy action going on, and I must say I've been wanting to have a go as well.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. But great to see, and I reckon, you know, when you've got that much of a smile on your face and you're talking to the Hansens, you never know when you might see the guy in a supercar. Timo Scheider among all our drivers down there getting ready for the semi-finals. The tension is building. Sabo warming up, engines warming up. Round 2 of the FIA World Rallycross Championship. Let's do this. Good afternoon from the circuit of Barcelona, Catalunya. We are here for round 2 of the 2019 FIA World Rallycross Championship, Cooper Tires Catalunya RX. My name's Andrew Coley, joining me on commentary, Dan Rook, of course, runner-up in the RX2 series a couple of years ago, and a Supercar champion in the UK himself, and reporting from the Paddock and the pre-grid, Laura Winter. If you've missed all the action, you could have watched it online, but we're going to bring you up to speed. This is where we stand. Timmy Hansen at the top of the table with a clean sweep. He won all 4 qualifying sessions. Kevin Hansen second, then Gronholm, Bakker, Timizyanov, Baumanis, Raymond, Sabo, Shishrit, Doran, Derrida and Scheider are your top 12. Derrida doing particularly well in the last session to get himself up there. Chris Hoy, 15th place after Karai was demoted. 2 championship points for an Olympic legend. Brilliant. Pole then in both semi-finals for Timmy Hansen and Kevin Hansen. Niklas Gronholm is on the front row, and he had great pace earlier on today up against Timmy. Bakker, of course, on the front row with Kevin. They've had a bit of beef as well, so really exciting. Looking forward to this. Laura was on the grid earlier with Kevin Hansen.
Kevin here pre-grid ahead of the semi-finals. Your brother is P1, you're P2. A dream day for the Hansens?
At the moment, yes. It's perfect, you know, to be one in the both of the semis. It couldn't be any better, you know. It's really important here to be on the front row, and especially on the inside. So we're really happy so far, and I'm feeling really great in the car as well. So, you know, the launches have been good, and the feeling is great. So let's try to do it.
And how do you feel standing here pre-grid with the race imminent? Do you get nervous? Do you get excited?
I get really excited as soon as I'm on the grid, and then a bit nervous at the moment, but if I wasn't, I wouldn't put my life into it. So, you know, it's a great feeling here, but, you know, the best feeling is always between the semi and the final, so let's try to go there.
Best of luck. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I think Kevin there beautifully encapsulating the pressure which builds for these drivers as they get ready for the end of a tough weekend. We've got just a few races to go, and we're about to find out who's going to make it through to the final. Of course, the top 3 go through. Semi-final 1 look is already on the grid, lined up and ready to go. Can't wait for this. Going to try and find out who's got what tyres. So, semi-final 1 from Barcelona. Timmy Hansen on the pole. He won all 4 qualifying sessions. That's only been done 3 times before. Niklas Gronholm alongside him got within 2/10 in Q3. What are they going to do on new tyres? Have they got new tyres? Timizyanov and Cyril Raymond are on row 2. And bringing up the rear, we have Gulan Shishrit and Guillaume Derrida. So 3 cars for GCK in this first semi-final. They have got their work cut out to get the tactics right here. But of course, it does give them the advantage of being able to play the team card if they need to. Oh, I love it. Gronholm ready to go. Looks super calm in the car. Well, as soon as that marshal goes, you'll see him start all his little procedures to get everything into place and ready to go. He was launching in 2nd gear early on today. I wonder what he'll do for the final. The semi-final first, of course. Hansen's done brilliantly from the pole all day during qualifying. Can he do the same during the semi? Great start, Timizyanov, row 2. Gronholm moves across on Timmy Hansen. Timmy Hansen hasn't got much room. Is he going to get squeezed? He just holds on. Gronholm tries to go around the outside. Timmy, though, the standard line on the inside, holds on tight. Timizyanov slots in behind his teammate Gronholm, so the 2 GRX cars are B2 and B3. GCK bringing up the rear in a train.
Yeah, so Timmy Hansen not quite getting the jump there on Gronholm, but obviously having the advantage of the inside line, getting his car hooked up on the inside and just finding the grip like he's been doing all weekend.
Brilliant job by him. Into the Joker lap at the back of the pack is Shishrit. side, so Shishrit goes joker on lap 1 from P6. Actually surprised nobody went from further up the field.
Yeah, I'm quite shocked too. You know, you can see here Cyril Raymond with Timojanov there, maybe a bit of pressure. Maybe Cyril could have gone as well, obviously, to get him out the back of Timojanov. But these guys, obviously, you know, they know their tactics, and it's a long race now. We've got 6 laps instead of the 4. So
Timmy Hansen has managed to gap Gronholm already. Timojanov's right underneath. I get the feeling here that both Timmer and Raymond probably feel they've got a bit more pace with a bit of room. If Timmer goes, I don't think Raymond will.
No, so I mean, we got to see what's going to happen here.
Timmer doesn't, so Raymond does. So Cyril Raymond goes into the joker lap. Team boss, team owner Shishrit coming round in the McGann. Raymond's going to try and go round the outside. There's enough room. Cyril Raymond gets past Shishrit. Good job in the GCK Academy team. So Raymond into 5th, but one of only 2 men to have jokered so far.
Yeah, so Raymond now got the clear air in front of him. He can just start piling in the lap times. See if he can gap the I-20s in front of him.
Gronholm into the hairpin. This is frustrating for him, isn't it? Looking at Timmy Hansen. Timmy is now up to a 1.7 second gap, so 42.9. I just glanced at the timing screen and saw that come up. Fastest lap of the day for Timmy Hansen.
Yeah, so the Peugeot is absolutely on fire here. Already pulled 1.7 on Gronholm, and it's going to be so frustrating for him.
Remember last year, I felt personally that Johan Kristoffersen was under the most pressure last year, early in the season from Timmy Hansen, but the car wasn't right. It just let him down a few times. I think he had an engine problem here when he was leading his semi-final, so this is not game over, but it's not a massive surprise to see Hansen so on it here in the Peugeot 208.
No, this has always been a good track for him, and obviously now without the VWs here, he's really able to shine and show what he can do.
So De Ridder is in P4, Cyril Raymond is in P5. I think Cyril, looking at the gap, will get past De Ridder when he jokers. So another fastest lap, 42.9 again. So that's 2 42.9s. First driver into the 42s all weekend, and still the top 3 remains the same. So I wonder if they're watching back for this gap here from Cyril Raymond up to Timojanov. Look, he's what, 3.4 seconds?
Yeah, so it's going to be close there for the joker merge. Just going to have a quick look at the lap time. Cyril putting in a 43.9, Timojanov a 44.1. So Cyril potentially bringing down the gap there to the guys in front.
So Cyril Raymond then is the man to watch in terms of making a move into the semi-finals. Can he do that for GCK Academy, sorry. De Ridder is close to the back of Timojanov. De Ridder did brilliantly in Q4 to make it into the semis at all.
Yeah, awesome race from De Ridder. He really needed it. You know, he was down out of the semis, and right on board here now with Cyril up over the jump. Gets the car settled in nicely. Steady on the throttle, doesn't want to light up too much. Gets the car turned in.
Joker, sorry Dan, so De Ridder's gone joker and loses the place of the 3 GCK cars now running together at the back of the pack. All of them have jokered. Cyril seems to have fallen back into the clutches of Shishrit. Shishrit's all over the back of him.
Yeah, so Shishrit actually took 2 tenths out of Cyril on the last lap and a 10th out of him the lap before, so some pace here in the McGann.
They won't make him move over, they will, unless they really thought they could close down to the last lap, so this is going to come down to joker strategy, basically, with Timojanov is the man who's in danger of missing out.
Yeah, so Cyril here, he just needs to keep himself calm, obviously. It's going to be close here on the joker merge, I think.
Hansen into the joker lap. Gronholm goes with him. Timojanov's going to follow too. Timmy is so far out in front, it's crazy, and Gronholm's following on. Watch for the merge. Timojanov around the outside. Cyril Raymond on the inside. The 2 cars behind should be able to cover him off, so Shishrit goes wide, trying to protect him. Timojanov almost drops a wheel into the gravel. Holds on this time, locks the wheel. Oh, Shishrit might have a look up the inside of mirror. It won't make any difference to the semi-final lineup, but still, brilliant team tactics in the background there. Shishrit able to make the block across. Timojanov can't get through, and Cyril Raymond is going to go through to the final. Timmy Hansen has, Niklas Gronholm has, Cyril Raymond goes through to the final for GCK Academy. Brilliant drive. Fantastic.
Awesome work there from the Frenchman, obviously making the step up this year to a full World RX campaign and into the final for
first time. Brilliant.
First time, yeah.
Brilliant. Hansen rolling the car back. That was a dominant performance by Timmy, wasn't it? Ominous for the rest. Timmy Hansen takes semi-final #1 from Niklas Gronholm, and Cyril Raymond with a great performance there. I wonder if Timojanov, they could have played the tactics a bit differently. You know, they waited until quite late there to joke him, and by then Cyril had made the time up. You know, if he joked earlier, could he have held him off? Timojanov, Shishrit and De Ridder are out. Off the start, big wheel spin. Shishrit didn't get the best start there, did he?
No, Shishrit there making a good move to realising he didn't get the start and tucking up the inside. As we ride on board with Cyril trying to get a nose up the inside, couldn't quite get there, but having to kick the clutch to get out of the corner.
Timosyanov's been flying that jump absolutely huge all day long. Gronholm, to me, just didn't quite look to have enough pace to match Timmy. Unless, again, we haven't had that much tyre info. The paddock being so far away from us up here, we haven't been able to get the tyre info in the same way that we normally do. And I wonder, I mean, you know, could he have saved tyres for the final? We'll find out. But here's the merge look. So, yeah, I mean, Timo actually did brilliantly to thread the eye of the needle there between De Ridder and Shishrit, but not quite enough space to be able to get through. Well, Timmy Hansen takes semi number 1 from Gronholm. We expected that. Maybe not. Still Raymond to go through in third.
Timmy, it's been pretty much a perfect weekend for you so far, and now just one race to go. How would you rate that semi-final performance against what were increasingly brilliant drives?
Yeah, so now we're in a completely different part of the race, and it's semi-final we just done. I know Niklas is very fast, and of course the first corner is very crucial. He made a good challenge, and he squeezed me a little bit into turn 1, but not unfair, so I stayed inside and got the lead. And from there, I knew we had 4 new tires on the car, and I'm so comfortable around here, so I just put my head down and did my own thing. And yeah, I have a great feeling, but there's one more to go.
Thank you very much. Best of luck for the final.
Really impressive performance from Timmy when you consider the problems in Abu Dhabi. You could kind of wonder if he would have had his confidence knocked by Abu Dhabi, but it wasn't his mistake. I think if you drop it yourself, it's a little bit more worrying, isn't it? But Timmy having a good weekend. We've got another semi-final to come before, of course, the final. Can he take the 3rd ever clean sweep? Your thoughts, Dan, on semi-final 1?
Dominant display by Timmy Hansen there, but very, very impressed by Cyril Raymond making his way up through to get himself into the final. And he's put in some very impressive performances here this weekend, and I'm pleased to be seeing him do well.
Yeah, fantastic. Struggled, didn't they, GCK Academy in Abu Dhabi? I think it's very overwhelming, so yeah, good to see. Liam Doran, of course, was a standout performance in the semi-finals and the final in Abu Dhabi. I wonder if he'll be able to do that here. I'm going to go with Niklas Gronholm, I think, and have a look back at some of the action from the first semi-final. So let's ride on board with Niklas.
Can't quite see the gear indicator there. I wanted to see what gear
it
he's
felt
in.
long, didn't it, before the next gear change? So I reckon second. And as Timmy said, he nearly managed to challenge him into turn 1.
Yeah, but obviously the contact there with Timmy being there, Niklas couldn't fully shut the door, and he was able to get himself out and in front. So
I wonder if he hadn't, what they would have done, because obviously he's not going to joker too early, is he? I mean, that might have been the only way that he might have been able to apply some pressure, would be to force Hansen, you know, into P2. Then they've got to look at joker tactics, haven't they, compared? But as Hansen got the whole shot, as he has done most of the weekend, he was in clear air. Now this is Cyril Raymond, so as you said, very impressive. Talk us through this, Dan. It's one of your big rivals, wasn't he?
Yeah, so this is Cyril coming out of the main lap with Timosyanov coming off the joker merge behind him. Just managing to find the grip there, not too much wheel spin coming out of the corner, and able to get himself up through.
So this was Cyril on the last lap, although I think have we already seen the merge? Not sure. Yeah, we have. We've already seen Cyril onto that lap. So this was it where Timosyanov goes joker. But watch for Tim here as well, because it was impressive the way he threaded through. So you watch Shishrit will go wide, De Ridder goes tight, Timosyanov goes straight through the middle, but his target, Cyril Raymond, is just slightly out of reach.
Yeah, so it was good thinking there from the GCK boys to stagger the cars to make it really hard for Timosyanov to get by, but
he did.
Yeah.
Hansen taking it with a dominant display. Gronholm second, as we say, Cyril Raymond going through in third. You might be able to hear in the background the cars heading down to the pre-grid. Tyre warms going on, semi-final 2 coming up shortly. A good crowd here in Barcelona, back in Europe. Of course, the home of the sport. Always nice to go elsewhere, but it's great to come and see all the fans back watching the action here. Well, the cars are rolling up to the grid. Another 3 places to be claimed in the final here for round 2 of the World Rallycross Championship. Well, they're there and they're good to go, but a pretty clean semi-final 1. What will semi-final 2 be like? Here we go. Let's take a look at the lineup for semi-final 2. On the front row, pole position for Kevin Hansen. He won last time out, of course, after the stewards were involved. Can he do the same here? His brother's been looking a bit quicker all weekend. 4 new boots for Kevin, 3 for Andreas Backer alongside him. They've come together a couple of times already this weekend. Baumanis and Sabo on row 2. Sabo with 3 new tyres on the car. And bringing up the rear, Liam Doran and Timo Scheider. 3 tyres for Timo, 1 for Liam. So Liam fought his way through from a similar grid slot in Abu Dhabi. Kevin Hansen, if you've been watching all weekend, we've had an onboard with him all weekend. Right now, he will be so fired up. You can see him firing himself up even more. And now is the point where that adrenaline finally gets released, along with 6 supercars down to turn 1. Here we go, semi-final number 2. Backwards car squats down and launches off the line. You saw it sit. Sabo moves across. Doran has to make a move to the inside. Kevin Hansen clean. Baumanis looking for traction up the inside of Backerud. So has Baumanis got past Backerud? I don't think he might have done. He has. So Backerud manages to take the place from, Baumanis in front of Backerud, and it's Scheider who drops down to the rear. So Liam in P5. We ride on board with Andreas now over the jump into the right-hander. Who's going to go Joker on this first lap? Who isn't happy with what they got off the start? Sabo goes and Scheider goes too.
Yeah, so good idea for these guys to dip out of the queue and try and give themselves the air to bring down the gap.
Backerud underneath Baumanis. Baumanis has been quick this weekend, I have to say. He qualified 6th with a couple of 7ths, a 6th and an 8th, so increasing pace from the start machine. Yeah, definitely a new car for them this year and definitely trying to find their feet with it. It was an impressive outing for the first time in Abu Dhabi with it, and now good showing here too. Loving the look on Kevin's face there. Quite relaxed, but an element of concentration too, of course. And Dan, you know what it's like, the tension's building. Fastest step of the day, Kevin Hansen, 42.6. I think is that 3 tenths faster than Timmy? It is, yeah, 42.9. So absolutely amazing. Backward into the Joker, trying to cover off Sabo behind him. Sabo's going to go tight. Backward's going to have to go the long way round, and he does. Andreas Backer around the outside. Great move by him to get in front of Sabo. So much speed carried off of that Joker lap. You know, normally the outside line isn't the ideal one, but you can just see the speed difference as they approach that corner. They can just send it around the outside. So next in backwards targets is his teammate Liam Doran. Up front, Kevin is banging the laps in, 43.1 on the last one, but that first lap extremely impressive. We know the fast lap's always quick because of the nature of turn 1, but to go 3 tenths quicker than Timmy went, you know, could Kevin yet take it? He's been frustrated at not being able to match the pace of Timmy. Doran goes Joker. Everyone behind him has Jokered already, and it's not going to work out for the Brit this time. Might get past Scheider, he does, in Backer and around the outside. Nicely done by Liam, but he's going to have to do more passes like he did last time in Abu Dhabi if he wants to make it through, and I think it'll be trickier here. Oh yeah, definitely. The field is so close together here. You can see the train, everyone's so tight, and Liam is going to have to put on a proper fight if he wants to get up to the final. So at the minute, Backerud is going to take a slot in there. It's going to be about whether it's Baumanis or Sabo. So looking at the times, I wonder about sending Baumanis now. What's the gap between them? 3.7. So I'd be tempted to send Baumanis and not give Sabo any more time to catch up. What do you think? Yeah, so just looking at the lap times here, they're roughly even. Maybe Baumanis was a tenth faster on that last lap. So yeah, the gap doesn't seem to be increasing or decreasing. So they've got their options open for the moment. Great insight, Dan, thank you. Of course, he spent some time in the spotter's chair himself. We were talking earlier today about the pressure on these guys to make these calls. If you make the wrong call as a spotter, you get called out on it. Whereas if you make a brilliant call that wins the race, it tends to get overlooked by the performance of the driver. So Baumanis, I think, is going to fall certainly behind Backerud. So Backerud looking to get a place on the second row of the grid. Are either of them going to go on this lap? Kevin doesn't. We're looking for Baumanis in the background. Here he comes. I think Baumanis has gone standard lap, looking at the angle of the car into that. We'll wait until we see him onto the straight. Yeah, he hasn't joked it, so Baumanis has stayed on the standard lap. He's going to joke it on the last lap, and backward he's going to get past him. The question is Sabo going to get past him as well?
We're just having a look at the times of that last lap. Baumanis dropping a second to Szabo, so...
so he should have gone.
Yeah, maybe should have gone then.
Should have gone, so Baumanis is falling back. Can't hear anything wrong with the car as he passes the commentary box. Kevin Hansen looking so clearly out in front. Backward 5.4 off him, but remember, Backward has joked and Kevin has not. He's right on board now with Backward. Currently the driver with the most wins in the championship. He's got 6 to his name compared to Hansen's 5, but Hansen may well be able to equal that today. Kevin and Baumanis through the joker. Sabo's got him. Can Baumanis do anything on the run-up? This is for a place in the semi-final. The Latvian's got to have a look up the inside, surely. Oh, he's well late on the brakes. Oh, my fantastic pass. Unbelievable pass. Baumanis puts the car up the inside of Szabo. Little bit of contact. For me, that was on, but Kevin Hansen is going to take this one and join his brother on the front row in the final. Through to Rotting goes backward. Oh, Szabo's off at the bottom of the hill outside the commentary box. Szabo's dropped it at the bottom of the hill. Baumanis takes P3, as you can see in the background. Look for Szabo coming around, and I think he dropped it on the brakes on the gravel. That was after, of course, he was passed up on the long left-hander by Baumanis. Your thoughts on the pass, Dan?
Yeah, so Baumanis making a really late dive on the brakes there to get his nose up the inside. Just managed to get it. I mean, obviously there was contact there, but yeah.
We'll see. Kevin Hansen takes semi-final number 2 from Andreas Backward. Yanis Baumanis. Liam Doran is 4th. Shida Szabo dropped it on the brakes at the end of the semi, so ends up 6th, but we'll have another look back at that pass in a minute. So Laura has managed to get hold of Kevin Hansen, who'll be joining his brother on the front row of the final for the first time ever, so going to look forward to that.
Well, Kevin, you may have been a P2 for much of the weekend, but I can tell you have got the fastest lap of the day so far. How was that drive for you?
It was really nice. I focused very much and wanted really to put this run together. Timmy won the second semi, I believe, so Hansen brother front lockout, yes!
It is the Hansen brothers show. What's the game plan now in the final?
On the front row, both of us, so let's get out 1 and 2 and then push like crazy.
And you're going to be rivals now?
Yeah, now we're pushing. Now I need to go to the paddock, so thank you.
Thank you.
Let's take another look back at semi-final number 2. Doran moved right across to the inside. Shida went for the wide line. Szabo kind of caught in the middle. Not a lot you can do from there. Kevin Hansen with clear air out front at Backward. Didn't get on the gas too early, but Baumanis managed to get past it. So Baumanis has been quick, and it's that move later in the race that I'm really keen to see.
Yeah, so Backward there, maybe getting slightly hung out to dry. Couldn't get turned in. Was blocked by Baumanis there, but.
Kevin Hansen, look at the car, does look fantastic, doesn't it? So often you see when they dive that late on the brakes and transfer the weight that hard that it will lock a front left, but it just looks brilliant.
Yeah, super balanced that car, so we're about to see the merge here.
Yeah, Baumanis in the joker now. Look for Szabo in the white EKS Audi on the inside. Baumanis comes round, you can see Szabo's on the gas with a lot of wheel spin. Baumanis knows he can't get through here, but he's a long way back. Okay, there is a nudge there, but you know, they've got to go for it, Dan.
Yeah, super late on the brakes, wasn't he? And you know, there's an incident there with Szabo, so Szabo looked like to be diving up the inside of Baumanis there and just getting caught out.
So desperate to take that place back, but couldn't do it. There are some of the Backward fans. They'll be pleased that Andreas is through to the final. It's more of a final lineup like we were expecting to see, I think, in Abu Dhabi before the incident in Q3. But both of the semi-finals done. Timmy Hansen, Gronholm, Cyril Raymond through, Kevin Hansen, Backward, and Yanis Baumanis. We've got RX2 and the World RX final to come. So RX2 coming up for you next. It's round 1 of the RX2 International Series. Looking forward to our first final of the year. Qualifying was dominated by 3 drivers, but there was a bit of a story, Dan, and we're going to talk that through. This is a little look back at the semi-finals before you guys see the first final of the year. Oliver Eriksson on the inside, utterly dominant. Would have been a clean sweep in qualifying for him, but for an incident earlier in the day, Dan.
Yeah, so Q3, there was an incident involving 3 cars. The guy on the middle, Ben Philip Gunderson coming across onto Kallio and Oliver Eriksson pushing Ollie Eriksson into the tyres. Gunderson was later. Oh, we see an incident there.
Yeah, that was Nielsen backwards into the wall really fast. This was contact with Michalak in semi-final number 1. Only just glanced him and actually goes into the wall fairly substantially, so maybe a bit of damage on that. But yeah, interesting, wasn't it? And Ben-Philip Gunderson, who's been on the pace of these two, who basically led most of the weekend, hasn't made it as a result of that penalty. He didn't make the top 12, and for me, you know, when he won 2 events last year, that was a pretty significant moment. Puncture for Walfridsson. Come the final, though, it was the semi-final one, Oliver Eriksson, who took the win from Kallio. So the 2 of the very dominant, quick couple of drivers going through. On to semi-final number 2. Fraser McConnell is your man to look out for here with the Jamaican flag on the inside of Vasily Gryazin down into turn 1. Olofsson in the yellow 52 car, running the car out over the curbs, losing out and dropping down into, I think it was P5 in the end. So a few new drivers and a few returning faces. Bit of contact from Olofsson here. And a run wide as well. It was Damien Meunier who was running wide. Boulders into the wall. Meunier's done well, hasn't he? Debut in RX2.
Yeah, fantastic job. He's actually come from Supercars in the French Championship, and you know, normally people do the transition from RX2 up to a Supercar. However, he's done it backwards, and it's probably the hardest way around you could do it.
Because the cars are so different to drive?
Yeah, so you don't have the same power to pull yourself out of the mistakes and get yourself out of the corners. You can't be as sideways, etc. So you have to really drive these more like a go-kart.
So Fraser McConnell, very impressive indeed, moving across from ARX2 to RX2, managing to take a win in the semi-final. So their first final of the year coming up next. The youngsters going full send. Most of them are young. There's a couple of slightly older drivers coming up next. Well, the RX2 International Series for 2019, presented by Cooper Tyres, starts here. These guys travelling around with the championship, mostly around Europe, and it has been hard fought over the last few years. Great lineup for this one. You can see the pole man already. Oliver Eriksson, the champion, has made it through to the position we would expect to see him. Got new faces in this final as well. So let's take a look at the lineup for the first RX2 final of 2019. Pole then going to Oliver Eriksson. Fraser McConnell joining him on the front row. Row 2, Jesse Kallio and Vasily Gryazin. And row 3, Sami Matti Trogan and Damien Meunier. So Meunier making the final on his debut. Also Fraser McConnell. Because Fraser McConnell a bit more used to these cars from the States. Oh, MSC front row, I'm sure they'll be sensible enough not to take each other out. Brilliant start by Eriksson, not quite so good by McConnell, maybe. He's not quite alongside, is he? No, it's not far off though. Everybody very sensible through turn 1. Gryazin runs it out over the curbs. Kallio may have the chance to get in front of him. Kallio's up the side of Fraser McConnell. McConnell ended up in the wall here in Q1, but he manages to avoid that mistake this time. Just takes his time on the line, claims his place, and he's in P2. Now they've got to decide what they do about Eriksson. You know, does he just follow on and go for championship points, or does he try and change a bit of strategy? Straight into the Joker lap goes Kallio. So Kallio's gone in, and Sami Matti Trogan has gone in as well.
Yeah, so typical start we've seen from Eriksson. We can see him just hook the car up. He's got so much experience driving these cars. Got the fantastic launch and already started to pull a gap. However, it is starting to look a bit like Fraser McConnell was gaining back up on him. So he could have a bit more of a fight on his hands. He's had it all mostly his way this weekend, but now we can see the gap is coming down again.
It is. McConnell's pace has been brilliant. So he was 12th in Q1, 5th in Q2. He won Q3, but that was after the problem at turn 1 for Eriksson, then the DQ of Gunderson. He was then P2, look, in Q4. So, you know, he's just got faster and faster. He's only done a few. Last year he did 4 ARX2 events. It's nothing.
Yeah, exactly. And you put that up against Eriksson's experience, and well, it's, you know, it's hardly anything at all, isn't it? So to be coming in and performing the way he is, he must be so pleased.
I imagine there's a few people back home in Jamaica that are pleased as well. We may have some new Jamaican Rallycross fans. I know a load of them watching ARX2 last year, so hopefully they're going to join us for as much RX2 as they can this year. Oliver Ericsson looks to have extended his gap just ever so slightly on this one, but McConnell is still right there. Interesting that both Kallio and Sami Trogan, who have come up from UC Pinamaki's RX Academy, have both gone with the same strategy of, OK, we didn't win the start, we'll joke and now get the hammer down, try and close the gap back up.
Yeah, of course. They were, obviously, they were both in different positions, so maybe they may not have wanted to go in together. They might want to split a bit, but once you get to that point, you've already had the call from your spotter to go in. It's kind of too late then, you've already committed. So.
And P5 and P6 you might as well, really. You know, at least with these RX2 cars, what do we think the gap is? About 4.2, 4.3, isn't it, basically? Ericsson's car's moving around a lot.
Yeah, a lot of sideways there from Ericsson, which is it's not normal to see that from him.
McConnell hanging on in the background. Mounier still in there, but Kallio now is coming to the point where he might not be able to make much more progress. So is he within reach? Yeah, he's within 2 seconds of Gryazin. So Kallio should be booking himself a spot in the in the final with this. Sorry, we're in the final. I'm being a muppet. Should be booking himself a spot on the podium. I'm still in World RX mode. So fantastic performance from Kallio. He'll now be hoping, won't he, really, that Mounier releases him and that he could get after McConnell, because at the minute it's what is it, 3.5 to McConnell, isn't it? So Kallio could be on for P2 here.
Yeah, so fantastic job to get himself out and some clear air, but of course now he's going to be hoping that the cars in front of him joker so he doesn't get too held up. He's done a fantastic job to get back in there, but now it's starting to damage him a bit.
Yeah, there's nothing he can do now in terms of his chances. He's super late on the brakes in front of our commentary positions. You're looking at McConnell and you can see he's right up underneath Mounier in the background. So Kallio now needs Mounier to joker on this lap. And of course, they don't run in the same team, so there's no guarantee that's going to happen. That's what he's hoping. Then he can go and get a chase on for McConnell. Is McConnell going to wait until the last lap? He does, whereas Gryazin goes now. So Gryazin and Mounier have gone, and that's released Kallio. So that's exactly what Kallio needed. Is Trogan going to go through too? So Sami Trogan too. Gryazin trying to get around the outside, but Sami Trogan on the inside is going to hold that line off. Brilliant tactics from Set Promotional. Sideways contact between both. He's either going to drop it. Gryazin just holds on before the concrete wall with the tyres across the front. Tidily done by him. So Trogan up into fourth. Kallio is third, and it's now about the gap between him and Fraser McConnell in front of him.
Big commitment from those two guys, and good job to not drop it. But fantastic recovery for Sami Trogan. Of course, he rolled the car in Q1, now up into the final. So
it's really good. Plus 0.4 at the minute. It says it's going to go the way of McConnell. Here we go. You can see for yourselves. Kallio on the inside. Fraser McConnell on the outside. A bit sideways on the exit. Kallio should hold the inside line now. McConnell's going to try and go around the outside. He's got extra pace. He's going to come down. How late on the brakes does he dare go? He's going to go around the outside. If McConnell can hold on to this, it's a legendary move. Oh, he's up the inside. Brilliant. Unbelievable car control. Fantastic. That is a stunning piece of car control from McConnell. Coming around the outside of Kallio to somehow hold on to second. It's Ericsson who takes the win, but a wonderful debut in the background for Fraser McConnell taking P2, and a fantastic set tactics from the team for Kallio to get up into third. But wow, what a finish.
Blimey, superb car control there from the pair of them. No contact as well, which is amazing.
Yeah, really good.
They were so close on the edge, but they were just able to hold it there, and fantastic job.
Brilliant. I mean, Ericsson's been dominant this weekend, but if McConnell's performance here is anything to go by, he could be a threat for the rest of this season. So Oliver Ericsson takes it. So maximum score for him, of course, he was TQ, and he's also got his semi-final win and the final win. McConnell P2, Jesse Kallio P3. That's your podium. Sami Trogan fourth, Vasily Gryazin fifth, and Damien Mounier on his debut in sixth place. Very impressive by him as well. So sensible stuff from these guys through most of the race, to be fair to say, Dan. Not short on commitment, you know, but a great race.
No, some super bold moves out there, and, you know, decisive move here from McConnell to get himself up into that P2 and try and chase onto the back of Ericsson.
The two set cars as well were in different positions, weren't they, when they went to take the jokers, going in from 3 and 6.
Yeah, so here's the move with Gryazin and Trogan. Working for Gryazin, but of course working for McConnell later in the race here. Maybe not so much sideways from these two, and just holding his own, and definitely he did a good job not to overshoot there. I thought he was maybe going to come in too hot and run the corner too deep, but he was able to get it stopped and
sensible as well, because actually, my bad, Kallio isn't running with Set, he's with OMSE, so teammates as well. So actually it's a 1-2-3 for OMSE here, which is a brilliant performance. But, you know, again, super commitment from teammates, but also managing not to hit each other. Brilliant performance. Ericsson, McConnell and Kallio top the standings as well as the results here, so it's a great result for OMSE, who of course built the RX2 cars in the first place. Vasily Gryazin, Sami Matti Trogan, Damien Meunier, Anders Michalak and Simon Olofsson are your top 8 in the standings after round 1. But looking at the names at the top there, I think we've got a great fight on this season. I think the crowd will enjoy that. I'm pretty sure that's the grandstand, which is up above the long tarmac left. Which that was great. That was fantastic.
Yeah, all of the action from that race right underneath them. So really getting their money's worth for their tickets this weekend.
Well, let's see. We've got one more to come. The last race from the Circuit of Barcelona, Catalunya. This weekend, 6 supercars into the final. Hansen's on the front row. Hansen, front row lockout. Kevin was really pleased about that. I wonder if he'll be so pleased once they get into turn 1. This is the first time that we've seen these two on the front row in a final together in the same machinery, don't forget. I've joked with them for years in press conference and things. What are you going to do when you two go into turn 1 together for the win? You know, so we're going to have to find out what they are going to do, aren't we? Timmy heading round to put his helmet on. Kevin as well. They're looking pretty relaxed. So Chris Hoy, the Olympic legend, you may be aware of him watching this weekend, has been racing in a Fiesta. He's done a great job, and he's down on the grid with Laura Winter now. So let's go and have a catch-up about what he thought about his debut in the championship.
Well, Chris, very much super fan, aren't you? As much as you are a driver here, what have you made of your debut here at World Rallycross?
It's been absolutely awesome. I can't overstate how much fun I've had, you know, to be behind the wheel of one of these amazing vehicles and to be part of it, to race, to line up on this grid here. The adrenaline yesterday and today was just incredible. So yeah, it's like a dream come true for me, and definitely want to come back and try again.
We're saying super fan, you're going to come back and try again. You nearly won a race and you've picked up a championship point, so it's by no means a disappointing performance here, is it?
No, I didn't know what to expect. I mean, I certainly didn't expect to get any championship points. I just didn't want to make an idiot out of myself. I didn't want to get in other people's way. You know, at the start I was thinking, am I going to be getting lapped and, you know, tripping people up? So it was just nice to actually feel as if I was battling by the end. By race 4, I felt like I was able to push on a little bit, and yeah, just if I got a little bit quicker, I would have got through that gap, might have won the third race. But you know, that's what Rallycross is all about. Bit of contact, bit of fun.
And how much have you learned here this weekend?
I've learned so much, and it was funny from last night, going to bed, sort of going to sleep, your brain sort of processes all the information and you wake up in the morning, and I felt like I hit the ground running today, and I felt like I was on a different level to yesterday. So if I could get a couple of races under my belt and a bit of testing, then you know, you get a little bit closer and you can maybe mix it with some of the fast boys. Ever
competitive, Chris Hoy. On those very fast boys just behind us here, very quickly, you asked me who I think will win. I'm not going to tell you. Who do you think's going to win?
Well, I think it's hard to look beyond the Hansen brothers.
But which one, Chris?
I'm going to go for experience. I'm going to go for Timmy over Kevin, I think. He's just so consistent, and he's got that history under his belt a little bit more. But Kevin, obviously, he's been super quick today. Yeah, Timmy, I reckon.
Thank you very much, and well done to you this weekend.
Thank you. Cheers.
Really enjoyed it, hasn't he? And I would love to see Chris Hoy come back and do another event. He nearly got past, and it was so close, and it was fully committed up the inside. He had to back out because of the wall, but great drive.
Yeah, fantastic job, and you know, really starting to get comfortable with the machinery under him. Of course, 4 wheels and an engine is completely different to 2 wheels and your own 5. Yeah. So,
and what a legend, you know, to bring that professional attitude from Olympic cycling. You know, every little detail that he wanted. So what have we got going on here? A lot of tape going onto Baumanis' car. So a little bit of a fix going on Baumanis' car. Laura's managed to find Craig Breen, the World Rally Championship driver, who's here this weekend watching.
Craig, I bet you're absolutely buzzing to race, being here on the pre-grid right next to all this. What do you make of World Rallycross, of course, being a rally driver yourself?
Yeah, it's something different. Living up in Andorra, so I said I'd shoot down here today and have a bit of a look around. So it's it's impressive, I have to say. Obviously, coming from a rallying background, it's completely different. The speed and the power of the cars is something that I've not seen before. So, and great racing as well. So yeah, happy to be here.
And I've heard you've been in one of these supercars, haven't you? You've had a go at Rallycross. Would you love to race?
Yeah, definitely. I was lucky enough to have a go in Derek Toll's car not too long ago. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. The power is something completely different than what we have in rallying. So it's definitely enjoyable. And if an opportunity comes around, I'd love to do it.
Thank you very much. Enjoy the final.
Thank you. Thanks. Thank you.
We'd love to see Craig come and have a go at it as well. If you're in any doubt as to how loud anti-lag is and you think we're a bit of a wuss when we're putting our fingers in our ears, you can see what Craig thought there when Backer did a full-on launch behind him. So Kevin just adjusting the glasses. It is tricky if you wear glasses in a car, Dan. They've got to be absolutely bang on, because under a crash helmet they move about, and you just need to get them so that they don't mist up. It's difficult.
Yeah, of course. Just an added distraction there for Kevin, really. Something that
he's used to, isn't he? Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously I've not had to drive with glasses, so I'm not sure how the feeling is, but.
Thierry Neuville, of course, another very famous top-level driver who wears glasses. Jari-Matti Latvala. Andreas Backer of Monster Energy RX Cartel, that big hit in Abu Dhabi. He'll be keeping it clean here, I'm certain of that. He needs as many points as he can get. At the minute, Kevin Hansen, P2 on the grid, is the World Championship leader. Everybody else with work to do to chase him down. Gronholm, of course, held that win for an hour before the stewards took over. So there is so much talent in this final. This is going to be fantastic. Let's see the lineup for round 2 of the FIA World Rallycross Championship. Timmy Hansen on pole, on for the 3rd ever clean sweep in the history of the World Championship, with Kevin Hansen alongside him. Niklas Gronholm lines up on row 2 with Andreas Backer next to him. Backer, I'm sure, will try to go around the outside. He's tried it all weekend. Yanis Baumanis and Cyril Raymond at the rear of the grid. Here we go. The marshals are about to leave. We've got a Mexican wave going on around the stadium here at Barcelona. Crowd noise is great here. We can hear it in the commentary box. Hope you guys can hear it at home. Thumbs up, clunk of the gears. Here we go with the RPM. Bring the noise. The ready to race light comes on. That'll go out, and then we're seconds out from round 2. Great start, both Hansens. Clutch hit from Baumanis to the back. Backward moves across and shuts the door. Baumanis can't get in there. Backward into the side of Gronholm. Straight up into P3. Timmy Hansen clear of Kevin Hansen. Kevin Hansen going to shut the door on Backward too. So Timmy Hansen, Kevin Hansen, Backward, great start.
Yeah, fantastic job there from Backward. Not going around the outside like we expected. Obviously, he's tried it so many times, it's not worked out. Finding himself that gap up the inside of Gronholm from somewhere. And
Gronholm goes Joker. Gronholm's gone Joker on the first lap. Cyril Raymond goes with him as well. So Cyril was at the back of the pack. Gronholm, those pulled out from the middle. We know he's got pace. Has he got enough pace, though, to catch up with these three? It's been on and off. He's blown hot and cold this weekend.
Well, yeah, obviously he feels like he's got more pace than Andreas and Kevin in front of him. So dipping out, giving himself that clean air, and well, yeah, this is the chance for him to show us what he can do.
Backer putting enormous pressure on the rear end of Kevin Hansen. He wants to make a move. He's got to get past Kevin if he feels he's quicker, and he has been a couple of times this weekend. If he wants to chase down Timmy, Kevin runs a little bit wide of the wall on the inside. Backer keeping it super tidy.
I wouldn't be surprised here if we can see Backer going into the Joker lap now. Obviously, he's got to fend off for Gronholm behind him, and he doesn't.
He doesn't. So is Gronholm going to close that gap down? We'll have a look at the times and try and figure that out for you. Backer is all over the rear end of Kevin Hansen. Kevin won't be playing rear gunner to Timmy here. He'll be pushing full push as much as he can, but at the minute it doesn't look to be as much as Andreas.
Yeah, heaps of understeer there from Andreas, so not able to hit the perfect line as he comes through that corner there, maybe dropping a couple temps, but pushing hard to get on the back of Hansen.
Love the noise. You can hear Backer light the throttle up and send 600 horsepower down the hill. They come around the hairpin in front of us, deafening up the hill. We've got two sets of three. Baumanis, though, the one who hasn't joked and I think is in danger already. If you look at Baumanis, Baumanis. Both Gronholm and Raymond are almost near enough already to overlap him. This is all about Gronholm and Bakkerud. Is he making any headway at all? So it's 4 seconds to Bakkerud to 1.4. He's 2.6 off the back of him.
But of course now we've got Gronholm is catching up to the back of Baumanis, so that could hinder his progress and play into Bakkerud's hands.
Both Kevin and Andreas are absolutely on the limit. You can see the way they're balancing the car. That long left-hander on tarmac is so hard.
Yeah, definitely. And they're going to be using a combination of, throttle and left foot brake just to settle the car and keep the nose in.
Timmy Hansen has a gap now of 1.1 seconds. He's taken another 10th off, but Gronholm at the back is behind Baumanis. Gronholm has to find a way past. You're on board there now. You see Baumanis nip the handbrake on the way into the long right-hander. Gronholm being patient on the throttle over the jump. He's desperate to see Baumanis turn right now. He really needs him to go. Is Baumanis going to go? He's not, and that's going to kill. It's going to kill Gronholm's charge. Look at that, so tight at the barriers. Can he find a way past? Because now he's losing time.
Of course, we've seen passing up this track. We saw the RX2 boys do it. So Gronholm is going to be so desperate to find a gap.
Bakkerud still looks to be right up underneath Kevin. I don't know, it's hard to tell whether he's got any extra pace or not. He's certainly not making any moves, and that may be because his spotters are looking in the background. There they are, Graham Rodemark, Susan Hansen, Kenneth Hansen in the background, all spotting for both the sons. Huge pressure. This could be the first ever 1-2 for brothers in the World Rallycross Championship, maybe in any World Championship in cars.
Yeah, so they're going to be feeling the pressure. And Kevin goes in now, so Kevin's gone off to cover off Gronholm.
Kevin into the joker lap. Look in the background then for Niklas Gronholm. Going to try and come round. Baumanis is on the inside. Gronholm can't take the line he wants to take, and Kevin carries the speed. So that's Kevin managed to get past Gronholm. Gronholm's strategy has hurt him here, unfortunately. The early joker hasn't worked out.
No, unfortunately not. And, the pace of Baumanis just wasn't enough to carry Gronholm through. And fantastic call from the Hansen team to get Kevin in. They saw the gap there, and taking advantage of Gronholm being slightly held up.
Gronholm in that queue. Baumanis will have to go joker on this lap, as will Timmy Hansen and Andreas Bakkerud. Bakkerud was right up behind Kevin. Can Bakkerud do anything on this lap to nick P2 off Kevin Hansen? You are about to find out. Through the long left goes Timmy Hansen. Kevin on the inside. Andreas Bakkerud on the outside. Gronholm's in there too. Bakkerud's past Gronholm. Can he pass Kevin Hansen? He might have a look on the inside on the run into this last corner. We've seen it in RX2, but Bakkerud keeps it sensible. Kevin's just running slightly wide of the paint. Bakkerud still up underneath him. No such problems out front. Timmy Hansen, it was a disaster in Abu Dhabi. He has come back in incredible style. Hansen takes the win in Barcelona, the third ever clean sweep in the World Rallycross Championship. His brother Kevin makes it a 1-2 for Hansen, and Andreas Bakkerud in P3. Fantastic performance. What a drive by the Hansen brothers. That's brilliant. What a way. There they are. They're literally 2 meters away. You can see Graham's on the radio there to Kevin.
So much emotion going on here from the Hansen team, but it's so fantastic to see. They had so much hard work to do in between Abu Dhabi and here, and now they're able to come out and deliver.
I'm pretty sure, I'm calling it, there has never been 2 brothers in P1 and P2 in a World Championship motor race. So I'm almost certain of that. If you're a better statistician at home, which you might well be, go and find it, that's fine. But this is 2 brothers, P1 and P2, in a family-run team. The blue car of Timmy Hansen, rebuilt in just 9 days. Kevin Hansen, of course, the winner last time out. He almost looks more pleased with P2 here. But it is Timmy Hansen who takes the win from Kevin Hansen, his brother. Andreas Bakkerud is third. Niklas Gronholm fourth. Unfortunately, the tactics didn't pay off. I think Gronholm could possibly have been as high as second here. Still Raymond and Janis Baumanis, but I have to say, Hansen, Timmy, has been untouchable all weekend. Susan Hansen is up in the spotter's tout, and Laura is with her now.
I've just seen incredibly emotional scenes right here. Can you try to put into words what this means to you after Abu Dhabi?
This means the world to us. It's a true dream come true. We fought so hard for being here at all, and now having them 1 and 2, it's just amazing.
What were you saying? What were you saying during the race to both the boys?
Just give it your all. This is now or never. You were in the position, so just give it everything.
A clean sweep for Timmy as well, just the third rider in history to do so.
Yeah, or maybe yes, I don't know at the moment.
It was, clean sweep.
Oh, God, amazing, yeah. It's been such a roller coaster, and now we're here. We are first and second, and it's overwhelming.
How will you celebrate?
Celebrate, you know, having a French car, champagne.
Absolutely, thank you so much. We'll let you go to the Hansen boys. Thank you very much.
It's Timmy Hansen and Kevin Hansen rolling the cars back through the confetti to the holding area, which is right underneath our commentary box. It is a brilliant performance by them under considerable pressure. Good to see that Backrud and Gronholm are still on the pace too, but it's a 1-2 for Timmy and Kevin Hansen. Timmy Hansen opens the door, climbs out. There's his mum sitting in the background. You saw how emotional she was. Kenneth is there as well. Kevin at the rear of the car. So they're heading straight for weigh-in, which is why they haven't gone across the side. I wondered.
Keep the helmet and everything.
There we go. Tim Whittington, driver liaison, saying stay there, keep the helmet and everything. Dan, what's the score with driver weigh-in afterwards?
Yeah, so these guys have to go and check all their weights and stuff because obviously they weigh the cars. You have your certain weight limits.
So look back at the final. Good move by Backrud to get inside Gronholm, I have to say, on the way down to turn one here. Look at that. That was really, really brave with the wall right on the inside. Very good indeed. And that put Gronholm back into fourth, which then meant that he had to do something tactically, and he chose to joker early, which on this occasion, Dan, didn't pay off.
No, so unfortunate for Gronholm. He once again showing the pace that him and the car and the team have this weekend. So I'm sure he won't be all too disappointed. Of course, you know, he would have rather have been up and on the podium. As we see here, the merge with Kevin, and Kevin just carrying that extra momentum and keeping it around the outside.
With Balmanis there in front of Gronholm, I say, to me, I think Gronholm potentially had the pace to edge Kevin here. Would you say, would you agree? It was close anyway.
So, yeah.
He didn't, you know, and that's job done for Kevin. And Kevin, look at Kevin light the tyres up to keep Backrud behind him, and Backrud with the extra pace, but just not quite able to do it. Timmy Hansen, I say, coming back from that shocker in Abu Dhabi for a brilliant result here. Him and Kevin, P1, P2. Backrud third. Graham Rodemark, Kevin Spotter congratulating Timmy. Timmy calling in the rest of the team. There are 12 of them in this team, including the drivers, compared to 45 odd last year when it was run by Peugeot Sport.
Something tells me they're happy.
Yeah, I think they are. I think they are. Cool, isn't it? You know?
Great to see. Such a huge family effort, and obviously they've been involved in Rallycross for years, been putting so much into the sport, and it's come back and paid for them.
Yeah, paid off big time, hasn't it? Podium next for Timmy and Kevin and Andreas as well. Rivals brought together in victory here in Spain. Well, the Monster Energy girls are on the podium, waiting with the flags. Two Swedish flags, of course, a P1, P2 for Timmy Hansen and Kevin Hansen. We've had 44 podiums in a row with a Swedish driver on. Just a quick check of my stats tells me that. This is Timmy Hansen's 6th victory, bringing him equal with Andreas Backrud on 6 wins each. Ahead of them is Kristoffersen, Solberg and Ekström. Kristoffersen with 20 wins, Solberg and Ekström with 10 each. So by the end of the year, in theory, Backrud or Timmy Hansen could potentially move up into second in the all-time wins. There's Suzanne Hansen. We've got another Hansen. Kevin is with Laura now.
I can see how much this means to you from the smile on your face. Talk me through how much of a battle the last 2 laps of that were.
Oh my God, I pushed so hard all the final. I saw Timmy pulling away and I thought like, okay, he deserved this win. It was stolen from him last year. And I pushed and I pushed and I pushed, and I saw Andreas just behind, so I had to close in a few places. And I didn't know it was going to be so tight, the exit of my yoke lap with Giannis and Sabo, I think. So, oh my God, I pushed so hard. And me and Timmy and all the family and this team deserve this so much, you know. The work we put down during this winter, it's incredible. And 1-2 for the team.
And after Abu Dhabi as well, how much does this mean to you?
it means so much, you know. Timmy should have been on the podium in Abu Dhabi, and Andreas as well, you know. I think we were the three who were in the top, so we all three deserve this so much.
Congratulations, well done.
Thank you.
Well, here are the updated driver standings, and Kevin Hansen still leading. He leads by 8 points over Niklas Gronholm. Timmy Hansen, though, flying up the standings with a maximum score here. He's 10 points off Gronholm, but still a little way off his brother. And if Kevin's right behind him for the rest of the year, it's going to be tricky for him to catch up. This is not going to be over for a long time. Baumanis down to 4th, Sabo 5th, Timozyanov up to 6th, Scheider down to 7th, and Bakkerud look up from nowhere to 8th. Doran, Raymond, Shishrit swap in places. Anton Marks and Baciuska wide open. Well, our winner, Timmy Hansen, is with Laura right now.
Timmy, after the desolation of Abu Dhabi, this is redemption for you out on the track, isn't it? How much does this mean to you?
It means so much, you know, everything we've done through the winter, all the hours and hours and days and weeks we put down through the winter just to be here. And then I was devastated after Abu Dhabi, but happy for Kevin. And this time we get a real revenge. We're 1-2. Yeah, I'm touched about everything that's happened, about the repair, about how we got here, and now we're winners.
A clean sweep for you and your brother in 2nd place. Does it get any better than that?
No, it can't get any better than that. So I'm super happy for him too. Like what a race he put in. I had the inside line every time, and I kept my head cool, I think, through the race, and I was able to deliver every time. It's not easy. Like you have to do everything perfect over and over and over. And lining up on the final, you know everything you've done, but it all come down to this. And I made it, and we're here.
Thank you. Congratulations, Timmy.
Thank you.
Team standings after round 2. Team Hansen, MJP move up and take the lead. GRX Tanaco were just a point ahead of them, and now they're a little way behind them. Monster Energy RX Cartel with a good performance from both cars here. Up into 3rd, GC Competition dropped to 4th. Podium is underway. Kevin Hansen and Andreas Bakker are out there. Timmy Hansen onto the top step. Hug for his brother. And there we go. A quick nod for Andreas as well. What a quick nudge from Kevin to Timmy. Take your hat off, mate. National anthem time. So first time, of course, Timmy stood on the podium this year doing national anthems this year. Kevin was up there last time, and in P2, of course, ended up P1. So it's a win each for these two guys. And Timmy Hansen actually has won every single race he's taken part in this year, Daniel. He won the 2 sessions in Abu Dhabi before the issue. He's won all 4 qualifying sessions. And let's not forget that, the 3rd ever clean sweep. You've got to smash everything to get that job done.
Yeah, fantastic job by Timmy Hansen this year. Definitely looking very, very strong. But obviously, incidents in round 1 put him on the back foot.
Andreas Bakker, another man who was on the back foot, and this is a great recovery for him too. I wasn't sure at the start of the weekend whether or not it's going to go his way, 5th and 5th, but then he was 4th and 3rd in the next 2 sessions, and of course he's found himself up on the podium, and that, that's the sign of the quality of driver that Andreas is. Him and Timmy shaking hands and smiling as well after the event was finished, sharing the podium. Press conference with them coming up, so we'll be able to ask them their feelings on the recovery. Of course, Kevin Hansen still the World Championship leader, and everybody else with work to do to catch up, because when he's this good, it's very hard to nick any points off him.
Yeah, exactly. Kevin must be feeling very comfortable, and a lot of hard work for Timmy now as well.
Yeah, very much. But this weekend proving that he does have the ultimate pace that is needed to win the World Championship. What a weekend then. Not as much carnage as we had in Abu Dhabi, but some fantastic racing. The Peugeots are looking very fast. To say it is a clean sweep for Timmy Hansen. Nobody has been able to beat him, but Niklas Gronholm has been very close. Gronholm, of course, I say, he won the first round, it was taken away. Had a P2, he's still second in the standings. Backward recovered all weekend again after a shocker in Abu Dhabi. Baumanis' pace has been increasing. Timozyanov was on it as well. So there is a long way to go this season, and we're heading, of course, next to another brand new track. So who knows what's going to happen. There's going to be plenty of shouting from the spotters tower, particularly from this end. My thanks to Dan Rook this weekend and to Laura Winter down in the pre-grid and the paddock as well. We've enjoyed it. I hope you guys have enjoyed it at home too. This was Andreas Backward trying to get past Kevin, but he couldn't. Kevin held on to P2. Timmy Hansen, though, untouchable in P1, over the line to take his 6th career victory, the 3rd ever clean sweep, and to recover his World Championship hopes. He's going to have to chase very hard indeed if he wants to catch up with his brother, but it is a 1-2 for the Hansen brothers here in Spain, and we will be back in 2 weeks' time at Spa-Francorchamps, the legendary circuit, with a brand new World Rallycross track and a first-time winner there. Join us then.